Hello and welcome on the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis, joined alongside me the return of Jake Tseronis here on a busy Saturday night from Shirley Povich Field in Cabin John Regional Park. It's the Gaithersburg Giants taking on the Bethesda Big Train. The Giants coming off a 9-2 victory against the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts. And what a victory it was. It seemed like a 1-2 run game last night in Gaithersburg until a 5-run 8th inning put the nail in the coffin for the T-Bolts, but ultimately it wasn't needed for the Gaithersburg Giants' 5th victory of the season. So Jake, with all that in mind, it's going to be a tough game against the Bethesda Big Train. The Giants 0-2 in this park this season, but they do have one win over the Big Train, 11-10 in the early going of the season. So how are things going to come into play here in this one against Drew Bellis, the starter?
Yeah, I was going to mention there, the Giants' first win this season was against the Big Train. Of course, that was at Criswell Automated Field. However, the Giants have proven they are able to beat this team, and coming off of which many can say was their best game of the season, I see no reason why the Giants cannot come in here and win this game.
Yeah, you say best game of the season. It certainly was. Situational hitting, a plus, defense, a plus, and then all culminating a 2-pitcher game for Gaithersburg. 5-inning start from Sean McCabe, and then a 4-inning relief outing for the rising freshman at Marymount, Owen Singer. Singer has pitched now 2 times for Gaithersburg, culminating 6 1/3 inning total and scoreless across that entire time. So Drew Bellis, the starter on the mound for the Big Train, has 40 punch-outs already this season across 18 2/3 pitched, making his 4th start of the season for the bad guys in dark green. So we're going to see how this Giants offense takes care of business against a strikeout-heavy pitcher. Isn't that right, Jake?
Yeah, as you mentioned, pre-game when we were just talking about how this game can go down, we did mention how Drew Bellis does have a not too bad batting average giving up to opposing hitters. I believe you said it's around 250, so it's not impossible to get a hit off of him. Just Bellis has obviously seen a lot of reps, a lot of success with that, but he is no Goliath.
Number 19, Brady Powell.
Brady Powell will be the first Giant to face off against Drew Bellis here tonight. Powell, the rising junior at Radford, batting .324 coming into tonight. Always aggressive on the first pitch, so we'll see where this one goes, as we are off and running here. First pitch to Powell comes in for strike 1. Pretty much right down the gut for Brady Powell. The 0-1 from Bellis, swing and a miss there from Powell. Powell, last time he was in this park, went 1 for 4, but with 2 walks, ended up scoring 3 runs in the 19-11 loss just about a week ago. 0-2 now to Powell. Fouls this one off into the netting. Powell will stay alive here.
That one reaching 90. Another tip you gave about the Giants' last game is the high heat they saw all game and how they were able to successfully handle that. Interested to see if they're able to do the same today.
The 0-2, yeah, as you mentioned, the high heat that I saw last night, all 4 pitchers that the T-Bolts used against the Giants lineup touching 90s. The starter, Josh Zuckerman, reaching 94. 1-2 now to Powell. Puts this one on the ground to Martinez, who's going to field it, throw over to Gonzalez in time for out number 1. Much better start for John Martinez this time around. Had a couple errors last time he faced the Giants, but right there, pretty traditional play for the Big Train shortstop.
Yeah, definitely a routine out there. Not a hard run out from Powell, but nothing much he could have expected there.
That'll bring up Danny Orr. First pitch to Orr, he watches for strike 1. Bellis starting off Orr same way as he did Powell, pretty much right over the plate, a little higher. 0-1, swing and a miss there from Orr. He's down 0-2. Back-to-back batters now. Bellis has gotten 0-2 to start.
Yeah, two swings and a misses right there from Orr. Trying to dig himself out of a hole now.
The 0-2 to Orr. Swing and a miss. He's down on 3 strikes. The 41st punch out for Bellis this season.
Yeah, 41st there, and against two of the stronger batters in this Giants lineup. Both Powell and Orr were elected to the All-Star game for the Cal Ripken League. Both go down easily.
Yeah, the All-Star game coming up this Wednesday here at Shirley Povich Field in Bethesda. You can grab your tickets online and come out to see 5 Giants compete in that one. That'll bring up Andrew Holub, however. He sees the first ball on the first pitch thrown by Bellis. The first 2 batters, Bellis was able to get strike 1, but there it's 1-0 to Holub. Former Hawkeye watches strike 1. It's now 1-1 to the now USC Upstate signee Andrew Holub, headed down to South Carolina for this upcoming year, the rising junior. 1-1. Swing and a miss from Holub. Holub with 8 RBIs in the 8 games he's played for Gaithersburg. Has now appeared in more games this year than he did last summer. He swings and misses there, though, and it's 2 punch-outs from Drew Bellis, which you could probably assume was going to happen in the first inning. Gaithersburg goes 3 up, 3 down, doesn't get a base runner, but will have to play defense with Alex Angelides coming out to start on the mound for Gaithersburg. We'll step away while Angelides warms up here from Shirley Povich Field on the Giants Broadcast Network.
And chicken nuggets and sandwich from Chick-fil-A.
Wait, let me just see how many pitches. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis alongside Jake Tseronis, Alex Angelides on the mound, supporting a 3 ERA as they throw it down. Angelides will start again for Gaithersburg.
Yeah, Angelides didn't come into the season as a starter, but his exceptional play has made him into the starting rotation for the Giants. As you mentioned, 3 ERA. He, in his 15 innings pitched, has given up 10 strikeouts and also has 10 walks and 10 hits given up, but nevertheless has been one of the most successful pitchers on this lineup.
First big train Angelides will face is Alex Peltier, the starting center fielder and rising sophomore at East Carolina. He watches strike 1 on that one. Peltier did not appear in the last meeting between these 2 teams. The 0-1, swing and a miss there from Peltier. He's down 0-2.
Yeah, the ECU sophomore is batting .378 with 5 doubles this season.
And as you noted pregame, Jake, it's a lot of at-bats for pretty much every single one of these fielders for the big train. 0-2, he left that one high. It's been 3 high pitches from Angelides to start this at-bat, but that one not getting Peltier to chase. Now 1-2 to the big train leadoff man, Alex Peltier. Swings and misses at that one as he should have left it alone. He's down on strikes. One batter, one punch out for Alex Angelidis.
Yeah, 2 first good at-bats for both starting pitchers there. Angelidis
Batting second.
staying in the high part of the zone all the way up until that last pitch. Had Peltier chasing on that one.
Now, Angelidis will face Brennan Wright. First pitch to Wright, a thundering close of the glove from Colin Hughes. It's strike 1.
It's going to be tough to get a strikeout on Wright. He only has 9 strikeouts and 84 at-bats this season. So very strong numbers from the second baseman.
Rising junior at University of South Alabama. 0-1 is popped up and out of play. He's down 0-2. So a tough guy to strike out is going to have to find his way out of this hole. Down 0-2 to Alex Angelidis. The 0-2 misses outside. Count will go to 1-2 now. That one coming in at 83 out of the hand of Angelidis.
Yeah, that was a good eye from Wright. Definitely takes a good eye to only strike out 9 times in a season.
1-2. Has a good eye enough to pop that one up and out of play. Second foul ball in this at-bat for Brennan Wright. Wright was the leadoff man for Big Train in the last meeting between these two teams, going 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs and a walk. The check swung, and third base umpire says he did not go. 2-2 the count.
I think that was a good pitch from Angelidis. Almost got him to swing on that one right, able to hold off just enough.
Yeah, just enough is right. I mean, he was almost there, not quite enough for the third base umpire. Grounds this one over to first, and Danny Orr will just step on first himself, and there's two-way here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, nice play there from Danny Orr. Saw the ball all the way to his glove, trot on over to first base for the quick second out in this inning.
Batting third, the right fielder, number 20, Peyton Stevie.
Shadows, not much of an issue for Danny Orr at the moment, but they are getting longer shadows as the sun will start to set here in Bethesda. This one hit hard into deep left field, but under it to make the grab is Brady Powell.
Yeah, that at an exit speed of 90 miles per hour. It's got some ooze from the crowd.
All right, let's go
However,
down
Powell
to
found
Bruce
himself
Reed,
right under that ball for the
special
third
guest
out.
Big announcement.
Peyton Steele,
Yes,
the
we do,
other man
indeed.
from Alabama,
That's
but
what's
he's
up.
not
People
from South
really
Alabama,
enjoy,
just from the
watching
University
you
of
pitch the
Alabama.
last 2 summers here.
One pitch,
We
one
appreciate
fly
it.
out,
Now,
and it's
Coach
3 up,
Sal
3 down
gave you the
for
Relief
Alex
Pitcher of the
Angelidis
Year
as
award,
well. We will
2
step
years
away
in
as
a
we go to the
row.
top of the
So
second,
we figure we
0-0
should
here
give
on the
award
Giants
after
Broadcast
you.
Network.
So from now on, it's going to be the Max Martov Relief Pitcher of the Year.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. We go to the top of the second inning. And as I mentioned, a pretty busy night here at Shirley Povich Field. Max Martzoff, former closer / reliever for the Big Train of the last 2 summers, being honored here as now a new award. Reliever of the Year will be named for Martzoff. Was a demon against the Giants, but will now have an award named for him, the former FAU Owl.
Number 38.
But Colin Hughes will lead things off. In addition to Max Martzoff being honored, it's also Sal Colangelo bobblehead night. That is the manager for the Big Train. Sal getting his own bobblehead, has been doing this for almost 2 decades, I believe. Colin Hughes rips this one into right field. That's down for a base hit, getting into the corner, but just electing to go around first is Colin Hughes. So the first base runner of this ball game is Colin Hughes with that single. Really nice pitch to hit, not allowing him to get down 0-1 like almost every batter before him.
Yeah, if we had more time, we were just going to go into how Colin Hughes has been one of the most reliable hitters on this team, showing it there, finding a pitch he likes early and getting on that one.
And Jake, you said it pregame may have been an all-star game snub, as they call it. Hughes supporting a 917 OPS coming into tonight. Nate Houghton-Henley watches strike 1. Henley coming into this game batting .250. Third base coach Casey Gibbs saying that when he gets on base, he needs to steal more. The rising freshman still getting accustomed to college-level play. Watches strike 2 now.
Yeah, definitely tough being one of the younger guys in this very competitive league. Henley has been one of the only freshmen to be seen in this starting lineup on the regular. However, he has shown signs of success for the Giants.
0-2 swings and misses there. Henley is down on strikes. The third punch out, all 3 swings and misses for Drew Bellis.
Bellis getting back on track after
Batting
that
sixth,
huge
third
single.
Number 13,
gets
Ryan Maxey.
Nate Henley down promptly.
That'll bring up Ryan Maxey. Last time in this ballpark, he ripped a triple for an RBI. Has Colin Hughes on first. Starts the hands, but ultimately watches strike 1 go by, and our camera has fallen over. We'll see if the Big Train staff can get it fixed. If not, I will be back up there to fix it myself at the end of this inning. Swinging and missing there is Maxey, who's now down 0-2.
Yeah, once again, we just apologize for this unfortunate and shaky camera angle. It's still being put up.
Once again, it'll be fixed at the end of this inning.
Yeah, Maxey almost half check swinging on that off speed. Waits just enough. Brings the count to 1-2.
1-2 to Maxey. Colin Hughes on first. One away. Fouled off by Maxey. Able to stay alive is the rising sophomore at St. John's River State College.
Yeah, you mentioned his triple earlier. That's one of his 7 hits this season. Not the most on the Giants roster, however, has been effective.
He hits this one into right field. However, staying stagnant is Peyton Steele, and he makes the grab for out number 2. Didn't have to move much as Steele hangs under that one.
Batting 7th, the shortstop, number 24, Kate Hentz.
Maxey did get a good piece of it, 76 off the bat, going 265. So if he's able to get his barrel on that one, it might be baseball destroyed. And maybe Colin Hughes getting across home plate. Now Kate Hentz will step up with 2 gone. Fouls this one back towards us. And the count is now 0-1.
Yeah, and Hentz's short season for the Giants so far, he's batting .250. He has 2 hits in his 8 at-bats.
Yeah, had 2 infield singles last night against the T-Bolts. Could maybe find a gap here. 0-1. Chops this one foul down the third base line over to his third base coach Casey Gibbs. And now Hentz down 0-2. Bellis already eyeing his 4th strikeout of this start. And to get out of the second inning, just allowing the single to Colin Hughes. 0-2, 2 outs to the junior from Jacksonville, Cade Hentz. Watches that one come inside, almost hits the elbow guard of Hentz. Count is now 1-2.
Hentz looking to stay alive here, start some 2-out magic for the Giants early in this game.
Once again, apologize for the camera angle. Big Train's trying to fix it themselves as Cade Hentz goes around on strikes. That will end the top of the second inning. Bellis with 4 punch-outs now, and we are out of the top of the second, headed to the bottom of the second here on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Those barking dogs mean one thing. It's time for the Veterinary Park Potomac. Batting fourth for the big train.
Welcome back to the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network. My name is Jake Tseronis, filling in for David as he comes back from fixing our camera angle. Sticking up now is number 45, Emilio Gonzalez. And this one is ripped into right field. Going back, and it is fair. Lands right in the court, it's foul. First base umpire calls it foul. That one left the bat at 87 miles per hour, was in the air for over 5 seconds. Gonzalez was already on his way to second base before that was called, as Angelinas gets a break there.
Yeah, so I was running back after fixing the camera, so you're going to have to relay to me what just happened to Emilio Gonzalez.
Yeah, Emilio Gonzalez just took his first pitch high and far down the right field line, just fell foul, however.
Watch his ball one there. So we'll again fix the camera angle shortly. Although it appears to be all right. The sun going right into the camera at the moment, so it's a little dark. We apologize for that. This one ripped into right field. That one is fair, but just a single for Emilio Gonzalez.
Yeah, his first hit was smashed. That one leaving the bat at 98 miles per hour.
Batting fifth.
Marino and Orr didn't have a chance on that one. And a nice base knock for the FAU junior.
That'll bring up Josh Skoronsky, the rising junior at Winthrop. In left field tonight was the DH. Here's a pickoff attempt by Angelitas at first. Unsuccessful on Gonzalez. Skoronsky in the last meeting between these two teams, 3 for 5 with 3 runs, swings and misses there on the inside at 79.
Yes, Skoronsky has had a successful season with the Giants, batting .310. He's got 3 home runs and 19 RBIs to his name.
Now he's down 0-2 quickly to Angelitas. So both starting pitchers having to lock in after allowing a leadoff single in the second. This one tipped by Skoronsky. Gonzalez having to remain at first, but the count remains 0-2 to Josh Skoronsky. Yeah, so I hope when the sun sets, the camera will return to its normal state. This one looped outside. Gonzalez gonna take off for second. That one completely missed the track man entirely, as that one was high and outside, too far to reach for Colin Hughes. And Gonzalez, the first runner in scoring position, 1-2 count now to Skoronsky.
Yeah, Angelinas definitely just lost control of that one at the end, just out of Hughes' reach.
The 1-2. Put on the ground to Orr. Fields it on a knee. Will flip it to Angelides for out number 1. But Gonzalez will move over to third now. First run of the game, 90 feet away.
Batting sixth,
And that'll bring up Logan Pawnit.
Logan Pawnit.
Yeah, nice infield play from Orr so far. However, the Giants now in striking distance for the first time this game.
Panet hits this one into left field, and that's going to be extra bases for Panet in addition to the RBI. As Gonzalez scores, Panet will hold at second. An RBI stand-up double for Logan Panet makes it 1-0 Bethesda.
Yeah, it's another first pitch hit we've seen this game. That one, another ground ball off the bat at 89 miles per hour right down the third base line. An easy score for the big train and the first lead this game.
Panet able to tuck it in between, as you said, down the third baseline in between Maxey and that line. It was about good 4 feet off the line, so really just tucking it in the third base bag. Now a pickoff attempt at second. No throw by Angelides. That's one disengagement for number 9 on the mound, with John Martinez now at bat. Martinez pops this one up into shallow center. Houghton Henley ranging in, but it's called off. And the catch is made by Aaron Babayev. 2 gone here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything from here, but I'm sure Babayev was calling that one off for him.
Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 13, Parker Corbin.
That one was almost put into no man's land, as it's called, between the middle infielders and then the closest 2 outfielders. However, there Babayev able to charge in, loses his hat, but makes the grab. 2 gone, scoring to bunt with 2 outs is Parker Corbin, but he pulls it back and sees that one go into the dirt, 1-0. One-0 pitch from Angelides. That one finds the zone at 79. So after attacking in the first inning, really elevated, Angelides has really started to go more low. And this one flied into right field. Babayev makes that grab a lot easier than previous one, and that's 3 gone in the bottom of the second. Big Train able to plate 1, and now the Giants will have to respond. But the good news is, Jake, was not a big inning that we've seen so many times from the Giants.
Yeah, Angelides doing a real good job there of staying confident in his game. Didn't shy away from the strike zone, had trust in his fielders. It was also good from Babayev. The last game I saw him play at Blair against the Tacoma Thunderbolts, he had a diving play, went right by him. Unfortunate to see that, so glad to see him back in the outfield today, making the plays he needs to make.
And we'll step away. Drew Bellis back out on the mound for his 3rd inning of work, and we'll be right back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. David Lewis alongside me, Jake Tseronis, and we have one of those mid-inning ceremonies, mini ceremonies going on behind us, so apologize for the amount of noise. But Aaron Babayev, after making 2 grabs in the bottom of the second, will now go into the batter's box. The play having to be halted, excuse me, Jake.
I was just going to talk about how Babayev had those 2 outs, the first one being a lot more difficult than the first one, as you mentioned.
Yeah. First pitch to Babayev now, pops this one straight up and over our heads and out of the park. Yeah, so again, apologize for the amount of noise. It was hard for me to even get my thoughts out with the whatever was going on behind me. They do something almost in between every single half inning here at Shirley Povich Field.
Yeah, we also hope you're able to see the field a little better than we are from our computer. We know the sun is in a tough spot right now.
As Babayev watches that one, it's a 1-1 count. Yeah, Jake, sun is setting here, so the camera should be back to its normal view in about 10 minutes time. We hope it's shorter, but Babayev starts the hands but watches strike 2 in just the low outside corner at 82 from Bellis. He's down 1-2 now.
Yeah, Bellis has been a factor here so far this game. Already got 3 strikeouts and has been living in the strike zone.
1-2, strikes out Babayev. Home plate umpire signals out at home, but they'll just complete the throwdown anyway from J.J. Hand. And that's the 5th strikeout now for Drew Bellis.
Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 1,
And
Aiden Marino.
I was just going to mention now there's a lot more off speed in that last at bat than we've seen this game, and that's the second time I think we've seen Bellis have that low off speed on that 2-strike pitch. Still has been very effective early in this game.
Yeah, you mentioned that off-speed put-away pitch, Jake. Scoring to bunt as Marino pulls it back. It's ball 1. But yeah, Jake, you mentioned that put-away pitch. All 5 of Bellis' strikeouts have been swinging. So just the Giants unable to really recognize that put-away pitch. 1-0, scoring to bunt again, pulling it back, and that one's low for ball 2 on Aiden Marino.
Yeah, Marino, another name that was talked about by the Giants coaching staff this game. Hoping to see a big night from him.
Yeah, has started to ramp up his bat. 2-0, has that one go inside, and Marino is up 3-0 on Drew Bellis.
It's the closest Bellis has gotten to a walk this game.
I believe this is the first batter that's seen 3 balls from Bellis. 3-0 pitch. That one misses high and outside. A 4-pitch walk for Aiden Marino. That brings up the top of the order in Brady Powell.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic at bat from Bellis there. However, the last time he let up a runner on base, he was able to quickly get back into things here.
Now, I'm curious just your thoughts on this, because this is something that I've kind of thought about while watching baseball games. When pitchers see a batter square to bunt, do you think that rushes their delivery at all? Because they want, as that one just plunks Brady Powell right in the ankle. So back-to-back free passes issued now from Bellis, and that brings up Danny Orr. But just going back to that point, do you think when a batter squares to bunt that plays into the head of the pitcher at all, that they have to make that play?
I think it's tough. I just think it all determines when the batter lays down that bunt. If it comes in early, I'm sure that goes in the pitcher's head. But on those last 2 squared up bunts, I just think, Bellis is pitching so fast, moving at a very quick speed that I don't even think he has time to register it until the ball leaves his hand. So I don't, maybe after the pitch is gone, he's taken a few steps off the mound. I'm sure it doesn't affect his pitch and its placement just because I don't think there's enough time for him to even register that.
A quick meeting between Hand and Bellis. So those steps you mentioned to think, he now delivers to Orr, who swings and misses on strike 1.
Come on, Danny.
Yeah,
So
I was just going to say, even from our tilted angle here, we can see the movement on Bellis' off-speed here has been very effective so far.
I was actually just going to mention that to you, Jake. 0-1. This one chopped over the head of Bellis. There's only one play at first. Orr is called out at first. Could have been bases loaded with 1 out, but John Martinez gets the throw over to first in time. Danny Orr about half a stride from beating that one out.
Yeah, I honestly thought Orr was safe on that one, but the sun is right in my eyes. Umpire's much closer than me and didn't hear too much arguing from the Giants dugout, so I believe the first base umpire made the right call there.
Now 2 runners in scoring position. Marino on third, Powell on second for Andrew Holub. Tying run 90 feet away. It is the early part of this game, but every run matters. First pitch to Holub, 79, middle inside on Andrew Holub.
Yeah, in order to win this game, I think it's very important for the Giants to at least match the big train in almost every inning.
This one hit hard and off the glove of Martinez. Marino will score, being sent around as Powell. The throw home. Powell safe at home. Gaithersburg leads 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, as I was about to finish what I was saying there before that hit, but the big train just being the big dogs in this league, of course, especially where we're standing right now, you can't let them get ahead too much. And right there, the Giants taking the lead halfway through my sentence. Of course, it was a little help to an error there, and nevertheless, the Giants will take those 2 runs.
And they'll score that one as a hit. It was put pretty well into the gap. Martinez had to make a diving play and just couldn't snow cone it enough into his glove for the line out of Holub. 2-run score on that single from Holub. First pitch to Colin Hughes is strike 1. First time the Giants have led this evening. First time they've plated runs. Marino and Powell scoring, and now Holub stands on first. 0-1 to Colin Hughes. Takes strike 2. That one just creeping onto the belt of Hughes. He's down 0-2.
Hughes, a good guy up at the plate right now for the Giants, especially with the lead just gained. Hopefully looking to start a 2-out rally.
0-2 misses high. 1-2. So after seeing the previous 2 strikes, that one in a pretty similar spot, but just a little bit more elevated, and Colin Hughes able to lay off of it. Always surprised at discipline when it comes down to details like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a game of inches.
1-2, and Hughes, game of inches, tips that one just enough to stay alive. Hughes coming into this inning was the only hit given up by Bellis that he got leading off the top of the second, but Holub getting the second hit, driving in 2 runs. Marino, who reached on a 4-pitch walk, and then the very next pitch hit Powell right on the foot, putting those 2 on. 1-2. Holding is Hughes on that one in the dirt. Now 2-2.
Yeah, as you just mentioned there with the walk and the hit by pitch, both of those runs could, both of those guys didn't really have to be on base. It was Bellis who allowed them to reach, and then both them driving in there. Just unfortunate for Bellis because he's had a very good outing. Just the Giants have been able to capitalize this inning very well.
2-2. This one not hit very hard over to second. Fielding it is Wright to make the throw to Gonzalez in time for out number 3. So it might be 3 outs here from the top of the third, but it's 2 runs from Gaithersburg. You have to like that. They had 2 runners in scoring position and able to plate them both. And for the first half of the season, that's really what was the struggle for Gaithersburg.
Yeah, it was always tough. When they would let up the lead, it was tough for them to get back. And also leaving runners on was a huge talking point, especially for the first quarter of the season. So, all Giants fans happy to see them score their first 2 runners in scoring position in this game.
We'll step away. Angelitas back out on the mound, now working with the lead on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Service for men and women who are active duty.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. We're entering the bottom of the third. Alex Angelitas now back on the mound with a 2-1 lead after a 2 RBI single off the bat of Andrew Holub. Scores both Aiden Marino and Brady Powell.
Yeah, Angelitas pitched a good game so far. Let a run in last inning, but the Giants doubled that with 2 of their own. So as you mentioned before we left, Angelitas coming into the game with a lead the first time.
And it's the first time Angelides faces J.J. Hand. First pitch to Hand up at his chin, not his hands. And it's 1-0. Two former Giants, Tanner Sanderoff and Noah Tebey. Both those guys call Long Island home for the school year. Sanderoff at Hofstra, Tebey at Long Island as they walk past us, enjoying the festivities here at Shirley Povich. 2-0 the count now to J.J. Hand, who watches strike one.
I was talking about Bellis' successful off-speed pitches there. Angelides delivering a great one of his own.
Now 2-1. Tries to work that off-speed again, but misses outside that time on Hand. 3-1 the count now. Sun setting. Camera should be looking better. Thank you guys for staying with us here on the Giants Broadcast Network. Hand tips that one back into the netting. And it's a full count for J.J. Hand, the rising freshman at Old Dominion University.
Hand, one of the newer names in this lineup. He's batting .400, however, he's only 2 for 5 on the season.
Full count pitch leaves that one alone. And it's a leadoff walk for J.J. Hand to flip the card over to Alex Peltier.
Now batting the center fielder.
Full count walk, the first one of Angelides' outing. It was a good at-bat from both batter and pitcher. However, Hand got the better of Angelides there.
Hand was not going to touch that last pitch with a 10-foot pole. Bounced feet in front of the plate. This one flied into foul ground, tailing to the Giants bullpen, and that's where it gets for strike one after that foul off the bat at Alex Peltier. Good news for Angelides, however, no action in that Giants bullpen for anyone to get hit by that foul ball, as Angelides has worked a nice start here in the early going. Does have J.J. Hand on first now, no outs, 0-1 to Peltier. Grounded over to Maxey, who throws over to Marino, double play ball, not in time to first, so they do get the out of Hand at second, but Peltier reaches with his speed to first, so one away, and Peltier replaces Hand at first base.
Yeah, almost that classic 6-4-3 double play. However, Peltier was able to get there just in time. However, still good fielding from the Giants.
Yeah, good fielding from the Giants is what we saw last night that got them that win against the T-Bolts. Pickoff attempt this time with a throw. Not in time, though. No tag applied by Orr. First pitch to right. Misses upstairs, 1-0.
Right. I was just going to say how Wright grounded out in his last at-bat.
Another pickoff attempt now. Yeah, Brennan Wright had that chopper to Orr his first time up. 1-0. He chops this one over to Marino, who's going to throw to second. And they say out at second. So another fielder's choice. It's two gone, and another replacement at first base. Brennan Wright now stands on first, and Alex Peltier headed back to his dugout. 2 outs for Peyton Steele now.
Yeah, I was nervous. I thought Marino almost made the wrong call there. However, zips that one in there just in time to get the second out.
Yeah, it was a close play. That one goes upstairs as the music keeps playing. Peyton Steele looks right at his own press box. Now play being halted, and we can resume. So Peyton Steele probably loves his walk-up song. Heard a bit too much, though. So 1-0 count. That pitch does count, but it missed high on Peyton Steele. Another pickoff. That one a lot closer on Brennan Wright at first. And I think that if Alex Peltier ran ahead of the ground ball that was over to Marino, he likely would have been safe, but held up to screen Marino and to make sure he didn't get a runner's interference call against him. Now 2-0 to Steele. This one tipped foul. 2-1 the count now.
Yeah, I saw that little hesitation on the base path. That was what ultimately allowed Marino to get the out, as you just said. But just obviously the right play from Marino, just a very close one.
Another pickoff attempt, and it's always funny. Every single pitcher has a different pickoff move, but Angelides throws it almost as he does a pitch, the way he spins his head. 2-1. Tries to locate that off speed, as you mentioned earlier, Jake, but that one high, 3-1.
Yeah, that last comment you made about the pickoff move, when I had the chance, I was going to talk about how everything Angelides does, he does it very aggressively, and his back pick is definitely one of those.
3-1. Misses high, ball 4, right, sprints down to second. Obviously was going on the pitch, but elects to sprint it out. Slides in there, so 2 on, 2 out. Colin Hughes will have a meeting with his starter as the big bat of Emilio Gonzalez steps up now.
Yeah, Gonzalez had a hard hit base knock in his last at bat. I believe it was 95 plus. Don't know exactly, but you know, the first pitch he saw in his at bat was a high fly ball deep into right field. Just fell foul. However, definitely a vital guy up for the big train.
A vital guy to this organization in general. He's a returner from a year ago. He tore it up then, and he's tearing it up now, where with his batting average coming into tonight, tied for third best in the league at 372. This one misses high on Gonzalez, 1-0. Hughes, after just talking to his pitcher, holding that baseball for a second, trying to tell him to calm down and get it more towards the strike zone here on Emilio Gonzalez. The 1-0. That one does find the zone at 76, outside part of the plate for Gonzalez. This one grounded foul down the first base line. Now 1-2. Angelides with a little smile on his face now is one strike away from getting out of this inning. Can he do it here on the hot pink bat of Emilio Gonzalez? 1-2. Popped up and out of play. Count will remain 1-2.
Yeah, after you pointed out Gonzalez's bat, I mean, he's a big man. Looking that bat look very tiny. I'm actually curious how long it is. It does look quite short from here, but can't tell if that's the bat or just him making the bat look shorter.
1-2. He hits this one into straightaway center. Backtracking is Henley. Henley will field it at the fence. Sounded like a extra base hit at the very least for Gonzalez off the bat. But Nate Houghton Henley catches that one at the fence, and that ends the third inning, 2-1. The score remains. I mean, that has to be a great sigh of relief from Angelides.
I mean, I don't know if you saw Angelides coming in, but he was pumped when that ball was caught. I can only imagine what Hughes and Angelides were talking about in that pitchers meeting. However, I believe it was on the topic of not striving away from the strike zone, what Angelides has done fantastic with this game so far. So glad to see him not stray away from the strike zone, even with a big hitter up, and win that battle.
Yeah, that pitch by Gonzalez, middle low, hit 99 off the bat, 354, but the most important piece of the puzzle caught by the center fielder for Gaithersburg, Nate Houghton Henley. Drew Bellis will come back out on the mound after surrendering 2 in the top of the third, and we'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Oh. Evan drives it deep and wins.
As the sun creeps down below the trees, it gets a lot cooler here from where we're sitting just off the Giants dugout down the first base line. And it also means that you will be able to see more of the infield as the sun sets.
Nate Houghton Henley.
And Nate Houghton Henley, the man who ended The bottom of the third will now step up to lead off the top of the fourth for Gaithersburg. First pitch from Bellis in the top of the fourth. Misses high on the future Terrapin.
Nate Houghton-Henley striking out swinging in his first at-bat, as every Giant has against Bellis.
1-0 swings and misses there. 88 gets in the zone, lower than the previous pitch that Henley laid off, and 8 miles an hour faster. 1-1 even count here to Henley. Tipped off the bat as he wanted to pull back on that one. Would have been ball 2. Ends up being a 1-2 count now.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Henley. Just check swung at that one just enough to barely tip it.
Henley trying to avoid a second strikeout tonight. The 1-2. This one he hits out of play and into the parking lot over the first base line. Staying alive is Henley was late on the 81, so took a little bit of an emergency hack there, deciding late to swing around. Henley fouls this one off again at the tippy top of the net here at Shirley Povich Field. That one above the zone, but able to get enough of it to stay alive. 1-2 count remains to Henley. Sixth pitch of the at-bat from Bellis. Stays up. 2-2.
Yeah, some nice two-strike approaches from Henley so far. At first, saw an off-speed and then some high-speed back-to-back pitches. Able to foul them both off, then hold off on one.
The 2-2 leaves that one low, so the first ball that Henley saw is repeated for ball 2, and then on the next pitch, the second strike that Henley got that he mistakenly got a piece of leaves off of it, and now the count is full. From Bellis, 3-2, and it's a well-earned walk by Nate Houghton-Henley. And another leadoff base runner for Gaithersburg as they had in the second inning, but the third free pass for the Giants. The previous 2 came around to score, and we'll see what happens now with Ryan Maxey up to bat.
I mean, that was the best at-bat Henley could have asked for without it ending in a hit. Some great hitting and just a great at-bat overall for the Terrapin.
Pickoff attempt. Gonzalez just flings the tag back. Couldn't tell if he got a piece of Henley or not, but either way, Henley was already back on first. First pitch to Maxey. Bellis delivers now. That pitch low for ball 1. So the towering lefty of Bellis, seemingly when he has a runner in his face on first base, it's going to generate some trouble for him.
Yeah, it hasn't been as successful once runners have gotten on for the Giants.
1-0. Left outside, a delayed strike 1 call, but it is strike 1 to Ryan Maxey. 1-1 the count. Henley now in a pickle. The throw gets away from Gonzalez. Henley is going to go on his way to third. Gonzalez picks up the loose ball. And so what might have been a base running error for Henley turns into 2 bases. And now the third run of the game for Gaithersburg is 90 feet away.
Yeah, that was a great move from Bellis. However, the throw got away from him. And Henley, that was speedster. We're talking about how he needs to use his speed before this game. Uses it there to reach third base.
Casey Gibbs, the third base coach tonight for Gaithersburg, mentioned how Henley needs to steal more. Again, Henley still getting used to college level play, and right there benefits from a throwing error. Maxey pops this one up and out of play. That one likely would have been in the zone. 1-2 was low at 89, pretty much the same pitch that Gonzalez got from Angelides. just a half inning ago. 1-2, no outs. Henley on third, infield playing in. Swing and a miss. The 6th punch out for Drew Bellis as Maxey retired, and that brings up Cade Hentz.
And Maxey with a chance there to get his 5th RBI
Now batting the shortstop
of the
Cade
season.
Hentz.
Goes down swinging there.
6 punch outs for Drew Bellis through 3 1/3 innings pitched now. Infield still playing in on Cade Hentz with 1 away. He hits this one lofted into shallow right. Steele will make the grab, tagging is Henley. He'll elect to go back as that throw got in ever so quickly from Peyton Steele.
Yeah, Henley went down, put his head down, started running early. That third base coach Casey Gibbs was telling him to get back. That was a laser to home plate. He would have been out by a mile if he kept running.
Yeah, it was already hit pretty shallow into right field, which made the job easier for Steele, but then on top of that, delivered a laser to Hand. Hand actually moved up the third baseline, so likely would have had to tag Henley earlier. And as you said, would have been out by a mile. Not sure if Henley would have been able to get around Hand before he got the baseball. First pitch to Babayev, low and inside for ball 1.
Yeah, Babayev still has a chance to drive in Henley, but we talked about how crucial it was for the Giants to leave runners in scoring position earlier this season. Did well last inning. Looking to continue that here.
1-1 finds the 1-0 finds the zone. It's now 1-1. Yeah, you mentioned the situational hitting has been an issue for Gaithersburg. Came through in the top of the third. Now Babayev trying to keep the theme going here in the top of the 4th. Henley still on third. 1-1. Chopped on the ground to Martinez. Fields it, throws over, stretched by Gonzalez. And they say Gonzalez kept his foot on the bag for out number 3. Henley has a trip around the base paths that comes up 90 feet shorter than he would have liked, but it's still 2-1 Gaithersburg, heading to the bottom of the 4th here on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Time to get on the field. Every summer, kids aged 5 to 12 get the
I'm just going to come back now. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. David Lewis alongside Jake Tseronis. As I mentioned, the Cal Ripken Senior Collegiate All-Star Game will be held here at Shirley Povich Field this upcoming Wednesday. And you can see the league's All-Star teams. Gaithersburg with 5 All-Stars, Brady Powell and Danny Orr, who are in the lineup tonight, as well as Jaden Brown, Britton Wildson, and Shane Murphy. However, Josh Skoronsky swinging and missing at the first pitch. He's down 0-1 to Alex Angelides, who may also be an all-star snub, as his catcher Colin Hughes may be in that category as well. 1-1, second pitch misses outside to Skoronsky. Now 2-1.
Yeah, you mentioned the all-star snubs from this Giants roster, and I definitely think their record has a lot to do with that. Unfortunately, their team ability has casted over their individual play.
2-1 misses upstairs, 3-1. Yeah, that can certainly play into things. I mean, you would hope that when selecting the all-star teams, they look a lot more at individual efforts, but that can certainly change the perspective. 3-1 misses high, a leadoff walk for Skoronsky. So back-to-back innings now for Angelides allowing a leadoff walk.
Logan Panette.
And that brings up Logan Panette. One of 2 hits for the big train and the only RBI for Bethesda tonight. Pickoff attempt at first. Tseronis back in there safely. But Panette with a hard hit fly ball into left field got a stand-up double that drove in a run. Has to get out of the way of pitch 1 from Angelides. It's 1-0. 1-0 belt high, strike 1.
Yeah, Angelides has done a good job of, if he does fall short and let a runner on, getting right back into the winners category with a ground out, pop out, or strikeout.
Another pickoff there from Angelides. That one closer than the first, it looked like to me, but still no success there. 1-1, nice off speed to get the swing of Panette. Now 1-2, not really anywhere near the zone, but still enough to fool Panette.
Yeah, Angelides didn't look too happy with that pitch. Got a nice gift from Panette.
They say a balk from Angelides. That'll send Tseronis to second base.
Angelides tapping his chest there, knows he balked.
That'll eliminate the double play ball, but a 1-2 count now for Angelides to work with Panette. Panette with the runner in scoring position. Puts this on the ground, ranging over, hence backhands it. No throw to be made. Was put into the gap. That does keep Tseronis at second base, so the opportunity for a double play still in order now with Panette reaching, but I'm sure Angelides would have liked to got that strikeout there.
Yeah, hence, I'm not gonna lie, even without that balk, hence, it would have been difficult to get that out at second base regardless, so props to him for just keeping that one in the infield.
So now 2 base runners on Forcedeni square base. Squaring to bunt is Martinez. That one doesn't clip Martinez, but he does get out of the way of it, was head high. Colin Hughes asking for a word, and the first base umpire saying he didn't go. Seeing if Martinez pulled back in time was Colin Hughes. So 1-0 count. Hughes looking for any edge in this game, trying to keep his pitcher afloat here. 1-0, scoring a bunt again, pulling it back, and that gets out of the glove of Hughes. Both runners advance there. Hughes thought that one ended up in his glove, but popped over his head, and both base runners move up 90 feet.
Yeah, Hughes wasn't able to feel that ball get away from him. A very late reaction. Heard the ball bounce off the ground, then turned around.
Now 2-0 for Angelides. Popped up in the shallow left, Powell under it.
That's good.
And no tag from any runners. So unproductive out for John Martinez, who was up 2-0 in that count after scoring the bunt twice.
Yeah, on that Tseronis fake took off from home. I was shocked for a second, even tried to fake it out with how far Powell had come in there, but that's a first and necessary out in this inning for the Giants.
That'll bring up Parker Corbin. First pitch to Corbin. Misses low and outside. 1-0 the count.
One more, Victor. Let's go.
1-0. Misses outside again. 2-0. Hughes trying to frame that one up for the home plate umpire.
Come on back.
Unsuccessful there. 2-0 count from Angelides. This is outside again on Corbin. 3-0.
There you go.
Angelides already walked Tseronis to start this inning, who now stands on third. 3-0 now to Corbin. Needed to find the zone, and it does. 3-1 the count now.
Angelides still a ways to go to get this out. However, bases loaded with only one out would be crucial for the big train.
3-1. This one hit hard in the deep center field. towards the scoreboard. Henley will make the grab. Skaronski's going to tag. So is Panett. And it's a tie ball game yet again here in Bethesda. 2-2 the score with a sacrifice fly from Parker Corbin. And then Logan Panett now moves up to third.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting from Corbin there. Henley, I believe, just throwing it in the general area of third base. Definitely was not getting the out at home. Tried for third, but still, he was so far back there. It was going to be tough for anything to happen after the catch.
So 2 outs now for J.J. Hand. And that one hits Hand right on the elbow guard, first pitch. And now runners on the corners with 2 outs. Bringing up the top of the order, and Alex Peltier.
Now batting the center fielder, Alex Peltier.
Definitely a tough, quick at-bat there for Angelides. After getting 2 quick outs, allows another Big Train runner on base.
First pitch to Peltier outside. So previous pitch to a righty was a hit by pitch to J.J. Hand, and then the next one misses way outside to the righty Alex Peltier. 1-0 the count from Angelides. Skips in, gets over, and Panett scores. Hand strolls into second. It's now 3-2 Bethesda.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of wild pitches from Angelides. Unfortunately, he's given up 2 here with runners in crucial positions. First one didn't give up a run, this one does, and as you mentioned, the Big Train gaining the lead again. Now it's all up to Angelides to stop the bleeding.
3-2 the score now, 2-0 count to Peltier. Another runner in scoring position. This one popped up into left center field, right center field. Babayev makes the grab. A little jump for you there, Jake. Babayev is able to locate it for the third and final out. So 2 runs put up on the board by Bethesda. Not the inning Angelides wanted, but it's not that much damage done. Still a 1-run game.
Yeah, it was important. It was crucial there for Angelides to not allow the Big Train to gain a 2-run lead. And you mentioned my jump there, Babayev taking 2 quick steps back as that one entered his glove. As I mentioned, Babayev has had some errors in the outfield this season, but nevertheless, he's able to make that catch and bring the Giants back in to the top of the 5th.
So we'll step away. Drew Bellis continues his night of work. He'll warm up, and we'll be right back on the
Awesome.
Go!
Here we go. 1, 2.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. David Lewis alongside Jake Tseronis. And Jake, we have entered the top of the 5th inning in a very tight ball game. Big Train plating 2 to respond to the 2 that Gaithersburg got in the top of the 3rd. So what needs to go right for Gaithersburg to come back here?
So first of all, the Giants have to keep the bats hot. They've been very successful this game against Bellis, a very successful pitcher. Bellis has had his own success. However, with his 40 strikeouts coming to the game, he does have a decent batting average given up against hitters, and he's shown exactly what his stats have shown this game so far. He has 6 strikeouts. However, both runs are earned, and like I'm saying, I think the Giants need to keep up their hitting, and with that, they need to eliminate some of the bigger hits. Angelides there giving up a 4-pitch walk, then a balk, and just as the inning went on, as you mentioned, 2 more runs coming in there. So just eliminate some of those smaller errors against a very successful team. That's what you got to do to beat teams like Big Train.
So 0-2 the count now after Marino watched strike 1 and then bunted foul just now. So 0-2 to Marino. Pitch from Bellis. Misses upstairs at 91. So Bellis has been kind of living in the mid to high 80s recently, but trying to dial it back up on Aiden Marino. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Down swinging again is another Giant. It's now the 7th strikeout for Bellis in this at-bat. In this game, excuse me.
Left fielder.
I was going to say how Bellis, that at-bat brought me back to the first 2 innings we saw from Bellis. That punch-out pitch you mentioned earlier, that low off-speed, has Marino swinging big there.
That'll bring up Brady Powell. He was hit by a pitch his last time up, came around to score. Pops this one up.
Let's go.
Martinez calls for it in shallow center, called off by his center fielder, Peltier. The out is made. Not sure if that was necessary from Peltier, but the out is made nonetheless. There's 2 gone.
Yeah, Corbin even flared his hands, seemed that full control of that ball. And, you know, as you mentioned, Peltier just coming in, stealing that one. Corbin with a smile on his face, walking back to shortstop, though.
That brings up Danny Orr. Swing and a miss there by Orr. And last night against the T-Bolts, Orr was looking at a particularly odd shift, one of those that you saw before the MLB banned them. You had the second baseman on the left side of second base and 3 fielders in the gap between third and second, fouled off by Orr. It's now 0-2, so they only went to that once against Orr. Not sure if that was a scouting report thing from one of his UMBC teammates on the T-Bolts, but they only went to it once and then reverted back to the typical infield play that you see in front of you for Danny Orr. 0-2, 2 outs from Bellis. Misses upstairs, 1-2.
And before I run out of time to mention this, just want to thank David for getting our exposure up so you guys can see the field much clearer.
Gonna have to dial it back down. 1-2, dialing it down is Bellis. That one at 81 misses outside. Now 2-2 the count. You're gonna have to change the exposure again as the sun sets, but wanted to try and get you guys the best view you can as early as possible. 2-2, 2 outs to the UMBC retriever, Danny Orr. Pops this one up over our heads, out of play. JJ Hand almost saying hello to us as he followed that one up and over our heads. Count will remain 2-2.
Strike
2-2 count remains. Chopped foul by Orr. Staying alive is Danny Orr, extending this at bat. The gloveless wonder, as I like to call him. No batting gloves for Danny Orr, one of the very few in the Cal Ripken League.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or very high in a lot of the batting statistics on this Giants roster.
2-2. Check swing. Did he go? They say no down the first base line. So full count now to Danny Orr. This is the 8th pitch of this at-bat for Orr. Full count, 2 outs. Bellis looking for his 8th strikeout. Pitch on the way, misses outside, and another well-earned walk for a Giants batter. This time is Danny Orr to bring up Andrew Holub.
And Orr really handled that off-speed punch-out pitch well, fouled it off twice. That third one was just a little outside of the strike zone. As you mentioned, Orr with a quality earned walk. It's only the 3rd of the game for Bellis.
And now that'll bring up Andrew Holub. Holub with a 2 RBI single the last time he was up. Only 2 runs of the game for Gaithersburg thus far. Pickoff attempt at first, no tag applied by Gonzalez. So Orr remains on first. Holub a nice place base hit here, could maybe even score or from first, or does have some speed to him. The corner infielder for Gaithersburg. We've seen him in plenty of places. That one skips in to hand. Nice block down by the big train catcher. That makes it 1-0 to Holub. This one hit hard into left field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Line keeps moving for Gaithersburg. Now 2 on for Colin Hughes.
Yeah, that's just a quality piece of hitting from Holub there. Right in between the gap of shortstop and third base, falls just in the outfield grass.
And Andrew Holub always asks me after every game what was one hit off the bat, so I'll have to remember that his second single of the game was 82 off the bat, but it seems like every single game he comes up to me afterwards and says, what was said hit off the bat? And I cannot remember for the life of me because he gets around 1 to 2 hits per game, is Andrew Holub.
Yeah, probably not too happy with 82, but the positioning of his hit makes it perfect.
This one grounded foul by Colin Hughes, 1-1 the count now. Holub now came into this game with 8 RBIs in 8 games and now has 10 RBIs playing in his 9th game this summer for Gaithersburg. Played only 7 games for the Giants last summer, a late addition, but a good one at that, as Gaithersburg was in the driver's seat of the North Division just a year ago. Obviously not there now, but trying to build some momentum as we head down into the final stretch of the season. After tonight, 14 games remain for Gaithersburg. 1-1, this one grounded over to second. Fielding it on a knee is Wright, and a nice flip to second to get the third out.
Yeah, that was a nice inning from Bellis there. 2 strikeouts, a couple runners got on, but as I mentioned, he was dominating early in that inning, made it easy for his infield to get that final out.
So Gaithersburg strands 2 on, one of those in scoring position, and that will end the top of the 5th. 3-2, the score remains Bethesda in front by 1, and we'll step away on the Yeah.
Ready? All right, 1, 2.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Jake Tseronis joining me, David Lewis, as we have a 2-broadcaster stream back up. Been a couple lonely days for me, but happy to have you back, Jake, as we go to the bottom of the 5th, 3-2. Angelitas back out on the mound. New left fielder, though, however, it's Brady Ruiz-Weiss in for Brady Powell. Powell was seen walking over to the trainer here in Bethesda, so we hope that Powell is all right. Was walking under his own power, I should say, so hopefully nothing major for a guy that's played almost every single game for Gaithersburg. 1-1 the count now to Wright.
Yeah, I can only imagine it was that hit by pitch he took earlier in the game. It came right off his ankle, and he walked it off like a champ. However, he seemed to be slightly limping over there, so I can only imagine a larger bruise has been building up as the game's gone on. Just hope it's not a multiple game injury, and he'll be back ready to go tomorrow.
That one skipped in. It's now a 2-1 count to the leadoff man, Brennan Wright. Now watches that one skip in. That one, although, made its way into the glove of Hughes. 3-1 the count now. Last 2 innings the leadoff guy for the big train's gotten on via a walk. 3-1. This one hit hard and into center field. Hard hit ground ball, not a walk, but still the leadoff man aboard for the big train to start 3 consecutive innings.
Yeah, another 95 miles per hour plus hit from the big train there. That one slid up in the grass, obviously, but Marino didn't have a chance on that one. As you mentioned, another leadoff guy on for the big train.
That brings up Peyton Steele, who's 0 for 1, walked his last time up, watches strike 1 there.
Oh, come on, Gonzalez.
0-1 to Peyton Steele, the rising sophomore at Bama, wearing his Roll Tide gear. And he hits this one into straightaway center, and that will fall in. Back-to-back singles now to lead off this bottom of the 5th for Bethesda.
That one coming off the bat at 101 miles per hour. I believe that's the first triple-digit hit I've seen this season. And before that at bat, if I got the chance, I was going to talk about how Peyton Steele has 9 doubles, and we were waiting for his first hit. And that flash of power, he shows it there.
And we'll see if this is day done for Alex Angelides. Looks like to be just a meeting. There is an arm warming up for Gaithersburg in the bullpen, but not sure if that arm is ready. So TJ Brockway meeting with Angelides here, taking his time. Back-to-back singles, a hard hit ground ball that makes its way into center field, and then a hard hit line drive, as you said, leaving the bat at 101 triple digits for Peyton Steele. And that'll bring up the big bat of Emilio Gonzalez.
Now batting the first
Baseball
baseman,
stays in the hands of Angelides. And
Gonzalez.
as 2 base runners on, first and second, no out for Gonzalez, who had a big fly out last time he was up, which ended the bottom of the 3rd, thankfully for Gaithersburg. First pitch Gonzalez sees is strike 1.
Yeah, I think that was the right play to keep Angelides in this game by the Giants coaching staff. I know back-to-back singles may make you a little weary. However, he has had a great outing so far and still looks very confident up there on the bump.
Confidence exudes everything in this game. I mean, he's now up 0-2 after a shaky start to the inning, and now getting a warning. That's one reset charge to Angelides. Needs to wait for Gonzalez to look at him. And now they'll award 1 ball to Gonzalez after that. Gonzalez will take his time looking up at Angelides and now purposefully taking longer is Gonzalez. Angelides comes set, delivers. That one skips in. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, Angelides, you mentioned, a very aggressive pitcher, and gets very into it there. Just got a little too into his routine, leaving a little quick.
Has to wait for Emilio Gonzalez to look at him in order for him to come set, which he does now. 2-2. This one hit hard up the middle. Hence fields it, flips it to Marino, tries to throw for the double play, safe at first. So they only get the 1 at second, so runners on the corners, 1 away. They do get an out, though, and that keeps the double play ball intact. Hence, had his momentum not taken him more away from the bag, he might have been able to complete the double play himself, but elect to flip to Marino to get the first out. Fielder's choice, Peyton Steele out at second. Gonzalez now on first, right on third. This one tipped back towards us. And it's 0-1 to Josh Skoronsky.
Yeah, just another nice piece of fielding from the Giants middle infield there. As you mentioned, that would have been a fantastic double play. However, you can't complain with the 1 out at second.
Pickoff attempt, Gonzalez back in time at first. Throwing error would be very costly. Another run 90 feet away. That pitch misses low, just low on Skoronsky. Now 1-1.
Come on, Ryan. Come on, Gonzalez.
This one chopped foul Skoronsky down 1-2 to Angelides. First 3 batters this inning have put a ball into play for the big train. Angelides trying to break that up here. Has Skoronsky down 1-2, 1 out, runners on the corners. Misses upstairs 2-2. Colin Hughes fakes a back pick on Gonzalez.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more crucial at-bats in this game so far. A strikeout, making it a 2-out situation would be huge with a runner on third.
2-2. This one hit hard into right field, tailing. They're going to stay fair. Around comes right, around comes Gonzalez. The throw in is offline. Gonzalez scores. It's now 5-2, a stand-up triple for Josh Skoronsky.
Yeah, just another hit, roped down the first base line, left at 97 miles per hour, and a standout triple with a help. It was helped with Emilio Gonzalez heading home. A close play at the plate, but Gonzalez was fairly safe, and the big train extends their lead, the largest of this game.
So a 2 RBI triple for Josh Skoronsky will see Alex Angelides' day done as he gets through 4 1/3. Just had some things spiral out of control for him, but the first 4 batters here in the bottom of the 5th, all putting balls in play, all pretty hard hit as well. And now a new arm for Gaithersburg will warm up on the mound. It's number 17 and all-star Shane Murphy. The sophomore currently in the portal will warm up while we step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network. We have to come back, I'm sorry. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. As I mentioned, all-star Shane Murphy on the mound for the Giants. Alex Angelides' day is done. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks to 1 strikeout. First pitch from Murphy misses outside on Logan Panett.
As you mentioned, Murphy, one of the more reliable guys in this Giants bullpen, is an ERA of 2.07. He has 8 innings pitched with 10 strikeouts, only 3 hits given up.
That last pitch missed on the backside of Panett, did not hit him. It's 2-0. This one hit hard, and that's into left field. Skoronsky scores. It's now 6-2 Bethesda.
Yeah, a nice piece of hitting, finding the gap between the third base and shortstop. Easy run scored as Skoronsky jogs into home plate. As the Giants continue, the big train extends the largest lead of the game again.
So that's now 6 runs allowed by Angelides, as Skoronsky was his guy. This one grounded over to Maxey, going to throw it to second. That one airmailed out of the glove of Aiden Marino. So Panett into second. A high throw from Maxey could have been an inning-ending double play. Panett seems to be all right, as does Marino. But now 2 on for Parker Corbin.
Yeah, not the start you wanted from Murphy. Back-to-back hits there. That one could be considered a error. Would have been a fielder's choice regardless. However, the Giants not able to get the out at second.
First pitch to Corbin called strike 1. So Maxey charged with the first error for Gaithersburg tonight, airmailing that feed to Marino. Again, a possible double play ball. 0-1 to Corbin, now 0-2 as Murphy looks to settle in.
Yeah, that ground ball to Maxey was probably the best chance the Giants had at completing the full double play there. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, throw got away from Maxey.
0-2. This one put on the ground to Marino. Throws it to Hentz, who throws to first. The scoop gets away from Orr. Heading home is Panett. It's now 7-2 as Corbin goes into second. Almost was a double play and a rushed throw. It's a tough pick for Orr at first, and another run scored for the Big Train. It's now 7-2.
Now batting the catcher.
Unfortunate situation there. Again, following up one great double play opportunity with another one. Both of them, you make an error on one of the throws. That time, the Big Train score another run, extending the lead to 5.
Fielder's choice followed up by another error. As you said, Jake, a 5-run game. First pitch to J.J. Hand finds the zone. It's 0-1. Parker Corbin on second base now after the throwing error gets under the glove of Orr. 0-1. Finds the zone. 0-2 now to Hand.
I'm going to go bother 8. But we'll see here.
Bobby Trey.
0-2, swing and a miss by Hand.
Yes.
And so Murphy gets his first punch out of this relief outing. It ends a 4 spot in the bottom of the 5th for the Big Train. Game not out of reach, but we talk about that big inning setting you back. So last night, Gaithersburg put up 4 in the bottom of the 8th. It wasn't needed then, but it'll be needed now, but they're down 5. So hopefully that situational hitting we saw come through earlier will come through here as we step away on the Giants Broadcast Network. All right.
You ready?
Yeah. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network as the Big Train have scored 6 unanswered now entering the top of the 6th inning, 4 in the bottom of the 5th, 2 in the bottom of the 4th. And there is a new arm on the mound for the Big Train, Jordan Caparano, number 36. The rising junior at Frederick Community College will now look to do battle against Nate Houghton-Henley.
Yeah, Capanu has a record of 2-1. He's had 4 appearances. He's pitched 7.1 innings, has 7 strikeouts and 9 walks, with 11 hits given up.
Once again, the music getting a little too long here in Bethesda. Play now resumes. First pitch to Henley, called strike one. Drew Bellis's day is over after 5 innings pitched and a remarkable strikeout count that got up to 7 for the tall lefty. That one misses upstairs on Henley, now
Batting for
1
the
and 1.
Giants, Nate Henley.
Yeah, Bellis with definitely a more graceful end of his game than Angelides. Angelides ended with 6 hits given up, but he had a very successful 5 innings. And Murphy came in giving up 2 hits of his own.
This one cranked foul and out of play. Henley down 1 and 2. Henley 0 for 1 this game, had a well-earned walk his last time up, and then on a throwing error got to third but was stranded there. Now the 1-2. Called strike 3, outside and low.
Yeah,
Fans,
Henley-
Still clipped enough of the
As you're
plate
leaving the park this
to be
evening,
strike
reminder,
3,
Tuckerman Lane is
much to
closed
the
due
reaction
to a down
of
electrical
Nate
line.
Houghton Henley.
Yeah, I was
So
going
as
to
you're
go
leaving
about how
tonight,
Henley did
Tuckerman
not
Lane
like
is
that call
closed
from the
due to a
start,
down
shaking his head
electrical
all the
line.
way into the dugout there. Said some words
Now
under
that
his
Ryan
breath.
Maxey.
Nothing egregious, however, definitely did not agree with that call.
Now let's win this thing.
And that brings up Ryan Maxey now. First pitch to Maxey, 89, way upstairs, almost above the head of Maxey. Now 1 and 0. So Capuano with the first strikeout looking of a Giants batter. That one finds the zone 1 and 1. Maxey shaking his head at that one as well.
Yeah, definitely some slower speed overall, especially on the off speed. That pitch getting down to 74 miles per hour. I don't believe Bellis touched the 70s at all. Nevertheless, low 70s.
Now 1 and 1 to Maxey. Pops this one up and out of play. Maxey down 1 and 2. There's
And now pitching for big train number 36, Jordan Capuano.
Capuano. We're just now getting the pronunciation from the PA. Elevates that one 88. Top of the zone. Fouled off by Maxey. 1 and 2 the count now. That one misses way higher than the previous pitch, but at 90 this time.
And you'd think with all the technology and setup the Big Train have here, they'd be able to announce the pitcher's name before we're halfway through the inning.
Everyone struggles a little bit with the PA announcing. Now a full count to Maxey. Sorry for the jump, was adjusting the camera picture so it's a little less exposed now and a little more like the dusk, that it is here. Full count pitch from Maxey, misses low and away, and it's a walk for Maxey. Maxey's first time reaching base tonight was 0 for 2, will remain 0 for 2, but now on base
Now batting the shortstop,
in this game.
Kate Hentz.
Yeah, first walk Capuano gave up. Of course, he's only faced 2 batters. However, that was a well-earned walk from Maxey.
It was down 1 and 2 in that at bat, able to battle back. That brings up Cade Hentz now. First pitch to Hentz, misses low. That one more in the zone than the strike 3 called on Nate Houghton Henley, which is why there was some pause from J.J. Hand on the throwback.
Kid Hentz, another Giant looking for his first hit this game. Struck out swinging, then followed that up with a pop out.
1-0, swing and a miss by Hentz, 1 and 1. Some outfield instructions being given by the Big Train dugout. They continue to bark orders now at their fielders, telling them to shift over. So looking at a scouting report now for Cade Hentz, who leaves that one low in the dirt. 2 and 1, the count now for Cade Hentz. came into this game 2 for 8, is now 2 for 10 after going 0 for 2 thus far. Has yet to reach base. He's up 2-1 though on Cuperano. Leaves that one up 3-1 the count.
Yeah, that one reaching 89, so a lot of a big variation in pitch speeds we've seen. However, Capuano has struggled to find the zone in his early outing.
Capuano, not one of the best out of the Big Train bullpen on paper, at least. Has a .393 batting average allowed as Hentz pops the 3-1 out of play. Now another full count for Cuperano. So Cuperano thus far, he's making his 5th appearance. 7 1/3 innings pitched where he's given up 11 hits and 11 runs, all of them earned. And 9 walks to 7 strikeouts. Full count pitch. Left over the head of Hentz. So Maxey not able to take an extra base, but it is ball 4, so he moves up anyway. And that'll bring up Aaron Babayev.
That one getting way out of hand from Capuano. The Giants finding themselves in a position to strike back and shorten this 5-run lead the Big Train have.
And now a mound visit here from the Big Train pitching coach. We'll pause the action. Not Sal Colangelo taking the baseball from Cuperano. That's the pitching coach for Bethesda.
The rest of the infield doesn't even join head pitching coach and pitcher for the mound visit.
Yeah, had a strikeout to start off this inning on Nate Houghton-Henley that left Henley a little bit bewildered at the strike 3 that was called. But now back-to-back walks to Ryan Maxey and Cade Hentz as Aaron Babayev steps up to the plate. Babayev has 4 doubles this season, but just 3 RBIs, and could change that story here.
Yeah, with those 4 doubles, he's batting .257. Not the best, but not the worst. So definitely a guy with pop. You can compare him to Kyle Schwarber in the MLB.
Has been out of the lineup in recent days, draws back in here. First pitch to Babayev. He leaves low, now 1-0.
I think one of those doubles has the opportunity to drive in both runners on for the Giants if placed correctly.
So Big Train has done heavy scouting, shifting their outfielders again now for Babayev. Watches strike 1 there, 88, upper outside corner of the zone on Babayev.
Yeah, I think what you just mentioned there, one of the better things about the Cal Ripken League, there's only 8 teams in both in total in both divisions, so you start to get to know these teams, especially in the midway mark where we are a little past now.
Babayev watches strike 2. He's now down 1-2. Will take time to reset here. Maxey on second, Cade Hentz on first. Gaithersburg down 5, looking to respond to the Big Train. This one hit hard and flagged down by Wright. Can he get up and make the throw in time? He can. So 2 outs now as both base runners move up. It's now 2nd and 3rd as Babayev grounds out to Brennan Wright.
Yeah, that was a nice play from Wright. I couldn't tell if it was just a tough hopper. His glove got stuck in the dirt there, but he looked a little awkward falling on the ground. Took a little bit to get up. However, he was able to get up in time and make the out at first base. However, the Giants now have 2 runners in scoring position.
That brings up Aiden Marino. First pitch to Marino, called strike 1. Over the plate at 89. Now 0-1 to Marino, who is 0 for 1 in this game. Struck out his last time up, but walked, and then came around to score back in the 3rd inning. 0-1. Check swing. Did he go? They say he did. And now Marino down 0-2.
Yeah, I agree with the first base umpire on that one. Marino going just a little too far. However, a crucial opportunity as Marino has an opportunity to double the Giants' lead.
Marino down 0-2, 2 outs, 2 runners in scoring position. Trying to come through here. Swing and a miss in the dirt. They defer down to first. Marino jogging down to first, and he has the strikeout completed on him. As Cuperano walks 2, but doesn't let any cross. It's still a 5-run game, 7-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th here from Shirley Povich Field. We'll step away here on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Ready?
So I mentioned it was Sal Colangelo bobblehead night. I mentioned it was Veteran Appreciation Night with the local American Legion. I also mentioned the upcoming All-Star game here at Shirley Povich. What I didn't mention is that the UFL champion DC Defenders brought the UFL championship trophy here tonight and even threw out a couple first pitches before the game here at Shirley Povich. Scoring the bunt and going off the helmet of Alex Peltier.
Yeah, that was a little scary there. However, it did catch the top part of the helmet. Peltier seems to be just fine, taking his time walking to first base, however, just shaking that pitch off.
So last time there was a close call. It didn't hit the helmet of John Martinez, but Colin Hughes wanted to see if Martinez didn't bring his bunt back, and I think Hughes wants to see here as well if Peltier brought his bunt back, and they say he did. So a glancing blow to the helmet of Peltier has him standing on first.
Yeah, it was a longer talk between the umpires than I thought. Maybe Hughes saw something they didn't. However, the umpires decide Peltier did pull it back in time.
Tough when you have a pitch coming at your head. Now pickoff move at first. Peltier dives back in safely. Brennan right now up to bat. 1 for 3. Led off last inning, which was a 4-run inning. Now a steal, a throw down the tag, and they got Peltier at second.
Yeah, that was,
throw was a little offline by Hughes, but a phenomenal tag by Hentz.
Yeah, I was going to say a little off target. However, Hughes roped that one in there, and a great tag by Hentz, as you mentioned, and able to shake that first pitch, hit by pitch off.
Swing and a miss there by Wright. Now it's 1-1. A very talented catching group defensively and offensively for the Giants. 2-1 the count now. We mentioned that is one of the deepest positions for Gaithersburg. 2-1. This one popped up and out of play. Wright flies this one into his own bullpen, and Brady Ruiz-Weiss unable to get that baseball. Weiss replacing Powell an inning ago in left field. Powell out of this game, likely due to the hit by pitch he got right on his foot. So hopefully nothing major to Powell, just a bruise that's in an awkward spot and unable to continue tonight, but hopefully to continue this season. Full count. Misses high, and a walk for Brennan Wright.
So both both
Now batting
batters
the right
for the
fielder.
Giants have reached base. Obviously, Hughes able to eliminate one of them with a throw down to second base. However, hasn't been a successful outing from Shane Murphy, one of the other all-stars we've seen in this game so far.
That'll bring up Peyton Steele. First pitch to Steele is high and outside. Steele 1 for 2 in this game. Was the second of back-to-back singles in the bottom of the 5th. Fouls this one off back into the netting. It's now 1-1 to Steele.
Yeah, Steele so far this season batting .275. He's got 9 doubles and 21 RBIs, so has been a huge factor on the offensive side of this Big Train lineup.
1-1, popped up and over our heads, out of play, and that sounded like it definitely hit a car.
Not gonna lie, I can see my car from here, definitely in the range of that. However, I don't believe that was my car.
Well, I hope for your sake that it missed that. Now a high pitch. Colin Hughes thought about a back pick on first on Brennan Wright. It's now 2-2 even count to Peyton Steele. That one looped outside and over the head of Steele, out of the zone that is. Hughes able to flag that one down though. Previously in this game, Hughes had a passed ball that jumped out of his glove on a high pitch from Angelides, but able to bring it down. Full count and a pickoff move again on Wright.
One pitch, good eye.
Murphy trying to escape this batter here. Full count pitch, popped up,
Let's go.
shallow right. Marino calls off Orr, makes the grab, and does a little spin all in one motion. Nice little spin around there from Marino, who gets the second out of the inning.
Now
Yeah,
batting the
Marino has
first
definitely been
baseman.
one of the most reliable defenders for the Giants this season so far. I think he makes the right call calling off Danny Orr. Orr was under it, however, in definitely an awkward position watching that ball coming down and Marino making the routine pop out.
Yeah, as soon as Orr was called off, he sprinted out of there as soon as he could. First pitch to Gonzalez misses high. Gonzalez 1 for 3 in this game, grounded into a fielder's choice his last time up, and then singled his first time up. This one he hits hard into center field. That's down for a base hit. So a single will advance Brennan Wright to second, and it's 2 on, 2 out now for Josh Skoronsky, who had the 2 RBI triple his last time up.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting there from Gonzalez. It didn't sound like he caught that one as well as he could have. However, still off the bat at 90 miles per hour.
First pitch to Skoronsky from Murphy misses just high above the belt of Skoronsky. Skoronsky 1 for 2. In addition to that triple, walked before that. 1-0. Looped high and outside. Missing further than the first one is Shane Murphy. Now 2-0 the count.
Yeah, Skoronsky looking to add to his RBI count after retiring Angelides.
2-0. Put on the ground off the legs of Murphy. Finds it at his feet. Will throw over and over the head of Orr. Scoring is right. Gonzalez gets to third. Ball doesn't get out of play. So standing on first is Skoronsky. Off the legs of Murphy. That one's got to sting a little bit. And kind of some shock. Thought he had an easy out. Flips it over the head of Danny Orr.
Logan.
Yeah, very unfortunate defending there from the Giants. Hit off his foot, and I'm telling you right now, that's definitely going to sting in a little bit. Then the off-putting throw there allows a runner to score as well, not what the Giants need right now.
Hit off the bat at 96. Definitely did not feel well off the legs of Murphy. First pitch finds the zone on Panette, and maybe the adrenaline got to Murphy a little bit there. When you have an object flying at you at 96, it's hard to calm down and make a throw over. This one hit hard into left field. That's going to fall in front of Weiss. Gonzalez scores. It's now 9-2 Bethesda.
Yeah,
8 unanswered.
that one just a nice piece of hitting there from Honnet. Brady Reese-Weiss not really with a chance
Now batting the
to
shortstop,
field that.
John.
Excuse me, field that. I
Martinez.
mean, make a play at home or second base.
And that'll bring up John Martinez. Martinez has yet to hit safely, grounded into the first error by the Giants tonight. An error charged to Ryan Maxey back last inning. Martinez hits this one hard into straightaway center. Henley gets under it to make the grab. Bethesda plates another 2. It's now a 7-run ball game. Just a week ago, the Giants were down 7-0 entering the 7th inning in South County and were able to plate 9 unanswered. Can they do the same here? We'll find out as we go to the top of the 7th on the Giants. All right.
Yep.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis. Alongside me, Jake Tseronis, as we go to the final 3 regulation innings, top of the 7th, top of the order for the Giants. Brady Ruiz-Weiss, who came in defensively for Brady Powell, will take his first at-bat of this game.
Reese-Weiss was first seen as the bunt man for the Giants at the start of the season. Eventually started to be able to take some hacks, saw some success with that. He has 63 at-bats this season. He has 13 hits, 4 doubles, and 7 RBIs to his name, and is batting at .206.
He certainly has a lot of speed when he can get on the base paths. He's down 0-1, though, to Capirano. Swinging away and fouling it off is Weiss. He's now down 0-2.
3-2. Good morning. Come on, let's go. Come on, get catch, let's
0-2
go, hug.
from Capirano
Go, Cal.
to Weiss. This is outside at 74. Now 1-2.
The common theme of big train pitchers this game is that off-speed 2-strike pitch. That one just a little too outside.
1-2 to Weiss.
Oh, like, please come over.
This one chopped over to first. Gonzalez ranging over will make the play himself and beats out the speedy Weiss for out number 1.
Yeah, another off-speed pitch. However, that one was falling in the zone. Weiss just kind of takes
Now batting
a
the first baseman,
last
Daniel.
chance hack at it. Turns that into a ground out.
Now that'll bring up Danny Orr, who struck out, grounded out to Martinez at short, and then walked his last time up. First pitch to Orr misses up high. Orr has yet to come around and score in this game, like he's done many a times for Gaithersburg. But he is also the team leader in hits coming into tonight with 28, as well as the team leader in RBIs with 15. 1-0 to Orr, swing and a miss there. And now it's a 1-1 count.
Yeah, along with the stats you just mentioned, this is Danny Orr's 91st at bat this season. Another statistic he leads the team in. However, still looking for his first hit this game.
1-1 from Caparano. There's the off speed, but missing up high, and laying off of it is Orr. Now 2-1 count to the rising sophomore at UMBC.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the spin rate on that one. Lots of movement, just started way too high to come back into the zone.
Unfortunately, spin rate among other stats from the track man. Orr pops this one up, calling for it Gonzalez, and it does get into the sure-handed first baseman's glove of Gonzalez, and now there's two gone in the top of the 7th to bring up Andrew Holub.
Now batting the designated hitter, Andrew Holub.
Going back to my previous point, spin rate as well as horizontal and vertical break we're not allowed to talk about on the broadcast. Some of that data kept away and just reserved for the players to utilize. First pitch to Holub, lays off that one, 79 in the dirt. Now 1-0.
Holub, one of the more active hitters in this Giants lineup tonight, has a 2 RBI single and another single after striking out, swinging in his first at bat.
2-1, bud.
1-0 to Andrew Holub, as you mentioned, Jake, 2 for 3.
Yes.
Lays off that one, and it's 2-0 now to Holub.
One more out, bud, before we go to hit.
Last inning, Gaithersburg generated 2 base runners with 1 out. The inning before, they generated 2 base runners with 2 outs. And now a 2-0 count with 2 outs to Andrew Holub. Laying off that one, 88 just clips the outside part of the zone. Now 2-1.
2-1. 2-1 on.
Giants looking for any signs of life. Haven't scored a run in a handful of innings as the big train continue to rack up their runs. They have 3 innings with more than 2 runs scored.
This one hit into left field, tailing away, but making the grab is Skoronsky.
Yeah.
So not the barrel Holub will be looking for at all.
Yeah, it was a nice piece of fielding from Skoronsky there, saw it all the way into his glove, and another quick offensive inning for the Giants.
3 up, 3 down for Gaithersburg as we'll stretch here from Shirley Povich Field. The score is still 9-2 Bethesda, and we'll step away here on the Or
Now
they scored
pitching for the Giants,
Okay.
number 29, Ethan Bell.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast
Now
Network
batting
as
for
we
the
go
big
to
train,
the
third
bottom of the
baseman,
seventh.
Parker
Ethan Bell on the mound now for the Giants. Bell, the Gaithersburg native, and the sophomore also in the portal, looking for a new home, but has improved his season marks as he's kept pitching. Sees the first pitch come in for a ball on Parker Corbin.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Ethan Bell started off a little shaky, and he was in the Gaithersburg Giants' first game against the Senators. Didn't pitch as well as he could have there, however, has gotten better as the season's come along. He has 10 2/3 innings pitched for the Giants with 7 strikeouts. As I mentioned, 14 walks, but a lot of those coming in the first half of this season.
Third pitch misses outside after the second pitch was fouled off by Parker Corbin. It's now 2-1 from Bell. And that one misses low, 3-1. So Bell struggled in his last appearance, but he had to pitch back-to-back days. And the first half of that back-to-back was phenomenal. And then the second half was one that he'd like to forget about. He'd also like to forget about that leadoff walk to Parker Corbin.
Yeah, as you mentioned in that J2 game, the Giants lost that to the Braves 9-20. So I think every Giant would like to forget about that game.
And now for the last 6 innings, including this one chopped over to Maxey, fields it on a high hop, throws over to Orr for out number 1. And I was just going to mention that now for 6 innings straight, to include this start of the bottom of the 7th, the Big Train have gotten their leadoff man aboard. And that certainly bodes well when you want to apply pressure, as now said leadoff man Parker Corbin stands on second base. So every inning except for the first inning, the leadoff guy getting on base for Bethesda.
You see that every inning they have got their lead runner on. They have scored a run, excluding the first and third inning they haven't scored. Every other inning they have scored. Ethan Bell is blocking the first inning scoreboard, so I was reading it incorrectly. Nevertheless, ever since the third inning, the Big Train have been very successful at the plate.
So a ground out from J.J. Hand. 5-3 as Maxey throws over to Orr for out number 1, brings up the top of the order in Peltier, who watches strike 1, 82, a little bit inside on the righty from East Carolina. 0-1 now to Peltier. Corbin in scoring position on second. Corbin dances around, Bell delivers. Tipped back into the glove of Hughes, and Peltier is down 0-2.
Peltier, no RBIs today. However, 17 RBIs on the season, including 5 doubles. Looking to fight back in this 0-2 count.
Looking to fight for his first punch-out of this outing is Ethan Bell. 0-2. Inside, doesn't clip Peltier, so 1-2 the count now. Ethan Bell and Peltier keeping this battle going. Parker Corbin staying on second for the time being. That one inside, almost broke back over the plate, but stays inside enough, and it evens the count at 2-2.
Bell looking to paint the corners on these last 2 pitches. As you mentioned, has just fallen short of that.
Two. This is low and outside into the lefty batter's box. And now a full count, 3 straight balls from Bell. He had Peltier 0-2, trying not to let the top of the order for Bethesda get away. Already reached base twice tonight, but doesn't have a hit, is Alex Peltier. Full count, swing and a miss. For the second time tonight, Peltier is down on strikes. And there is now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
Now batting the second
So
baseman,
finally on that fourth
Brennan
2-strike
Wright.
pitch, Ethan Bell is able to get the job done with his off speed. Has Peltier swinging out of his shoes for out number 2.
That'll bring up Brennan Wright, trying to avoid the fate of his teammate, Alex Peltier. First pitch from Bell. Wright leaves that one low and outside, 1-0. So now a lefty in the box. Don't think we'll see a steal from Parker Corbin on second. Might have had a better chance with the righty of Peltier up to bat. 1-0. Leaving it low again is Wright. Now 2-0 the count.
Yeah, with you saying that, Corbin definitely dancing out there at second base, but a steal on a successful catcher, Colin Hughes, would be shocking.
As long as him and Maxey are on the same page, it would be really tough for Corbin to take third. That's strike 1 on Wright, who nods his head yes to that one. 2-1 to the big train second baseman. Wanted to go around on it, and they say he does. 2-2 the count.
Hughes didn't even have to appeal that one. Home plate umpire says he went.
So 2-2, 2 outs. Bell looking for his second punch out of this relief outing. Runner goes, tipped foul by Wright, and Corbin will have to go back to second.
We'll say Corbin got a great jump on that one. Thought he could have been safe, especially with all the antics, and Hughes waiting to see if it was strike 3 or not.
2-2, 2 outs, some fireworks going off in the distance. You can maybe hear them a little bit in the mic, probably a little faint. From Bell, misses outside, another full count, back-to-back full counts now for Ethan Bell. This time, though, his balls have been broken up by a foul pitch. And now another full count, 2 outs. Corbin still on second. This one leaves that one in the dirt is Wright, and now he's aboard with a 2-out walk. Second free pass issued by Bell this inning, and that brings up Peyton Steele.
Bell definitely moving up his pitch count here with all these balls without an abundance of strikeouts either, even with 2 strikes on most of his at-bats.
Corbin takes off here with the lefty steal up, the righty steal, the tag at third. They say safe. Colin Hughes and Ryan Maxey do not like that call at all as Corbin swipes third.
Hughes' throw was definitely there in time. Must have been a missed tag from Maxey. However, even Maxey seems to not agree with that call. Corbin possibly stealing one there from the Giants.
This one hard hit but foul down the first base line. 1-1 the count now. So I mentioned moments ago, Corbin not stealing with the lefty right up to bat, but with the righty, Peyton Steele up, takes off on the very first pitch in there safely. Runners on the corners, 2 out, 1-1 count to Peyton Steele. And now Wright takes off, but will have to go back as that one's fouled off by Steele, 1-2.
Another 2-strike at bat for Bell. Struggled getting that third one. A lot of off-speed, missing the zone.
Well, he found the put-away pitch on the last righty he saw. Can he get it here? This one grounded over to Hentz. Fields it, flips to second, and gets the third out. So not a second strikeout, but does get out of the inning with no runs tacked on from Bethesda. Still a 9-2 game as we go to the 8th inning. Gaithersburg down to their 6 outs, trailing 7. Jake, I mean, they've had some opportunities, but nothing really substantial since around the 4th inning when they weren't able to plate any. So what has to change here?
I mean, you mentioned how well the big train have done with getting their lead
Thank you for being the best
their
fans
lead
in
batter
the
on.
College
I think you
Senior
got to see that
League
from the Giants, and
in the
obviously a
DMV.
lot more. It just has to be a very successful inning. You're going to have to retire Capano and go to another pitcher. I think you need to cut this lead down to at least 3 if you want to have high hopes going in, because like you said there's only 6 more outs, so you can only 2 runs or even 3 runs this inning would still make it a very far reach to bring this game back into a tie.
Well, they have to get to Caprano, and we'll find out if they can. Due up for Gaithersburg is Colin Hughes, Nate Houghton-Henley, and Ryan Maxey. Don't go anywhere as we go to the 8th inning on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Are you ready?
Yep. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. 8th inning here at Shirley Povich Field inside Cabin John Regional Park. The hosts, Bethesda Big Train, up 9-2 on the Gaithersburg Giants here. Colin Hughes looks to be the first to try and chip away at this 7-run deficit for Gaithersburg. Hughes 1 for 3 tonight, 2 groundouts to second in his last 2 at-bats. Singled in the first at-bat back in the top of the second. First pitch he sees is ball 1.
Hughes, however, still one of the better guys to start a big rally for the Giants.
1-0, leaves that one out. 2-0. As you mentioned, Hughes has been one of the most consistent bats for the Giants this season. Coming into tonight, batting .339, has seen that gone down a little bit as he's 1 for 3 tonight. Could change that here. 2-0, left upstairs. Now 3-0, hasn't had a chance to change that on any of these first 3 pitches to start his at-bat.
Hughes now in a great position here to get on base with a hit or walk. Something I mentioned the Giants needed if they want a chance at this game.
The 3-0. Found the zone at 88, keeping Hughes in the batter's box. Hughes recently signing with Rollins College in Orlando. 3-1. This one hit hard and foul off the bat at 77 after it came in at 77. Would have been nicely placed in the corner. The outfielders are shifted over to the right side of your screen for the lefty Colin Hughes. That one would have been away from Peyton Steele in right field. Full count. That one missed the glove of hand, and it is a leadoff walk for Colin Hughes.
Yeah, so a nice fight from Capano there to get it back to full count. However, his early 3 balls made it tough for him, and Hughes ends up walking.
Nate Houghton-Henley.
That'll bring up Nate Houghton-Henley. Struck out twice tonight, walked back in the 4th inning where he ended up getting to third base on a throwing error from then pitcher Drew Bellis. This one chopped over to third. Double play ball might be in order here. Throw to first, not in time. They do get Colin Hughes at second. And they're going to say runner's interference on Colin Hughes.
Now batting the third baseman.
And they
Ryan
say
Maxey.
that is a double play.
And we have head coach TJ Brockway coming out to argue this call. This would be devastating for the Giants, but the umpire team seems pretty confident on their calls as finally an umpire comes to address Coach Brockway. Hughes seems to have some words for the first base umpire as well as he comes back into the dugout.
Now, I did not want to mention this, but Dwight Godwin, that umpire, has past history with Gaithersburg. And that history has come to fruition here. I did not want to mention that previously, but manager TJ Brockway and Dwight Godwin do have previous history just in this season. Got into it once in Alexandria, got into it previously here in Bethesda, and just now Dwight Godwin tossing out manager TJ Brockway for Gaithersburg. So a double play called on runner's interference on Colin Hughes, and now there is 2 outs here in the top of the 8th with Ryan Maxey up and the bases empty.
And as manager TJ Brockway walks by, I don't think that was a very spicy conversation at all. Brockway has one comment to the umpire, and he is tossed. So, you know, you could definitely tell there was tension between those two beforehand.
First pitch to Maxey misses upstairs. So yeah, as I mentioned, manager TJ Brockway, as well as the entire Giants dugout, has gotten into it with Dwight Godwin before. Godwin ejecting Brockway. And now Maxey up 2-0 on Capuano with 2 outs.
And the Giants now hanging on to a thread.
2-0. Inside, called strike 1 on Maxey. Kind of shimmied out of his shoes a little bit. Thought that one was coming inside, but stays enough over the plate to be called strike 1 on Maxey. 2-1. That one stays low. Doing a little shimmy again is Maxey, but that one a little less inside, but well low of the zone. 3-1 the count now. And that one misses, so after a runner's interference, got rid of anyone on base. It's a walk awarded to Ryan Maxey. That'll bring up Cade Hentz. The second walk issued by Capuano in this inning. Walked Colin Hughes to start the inning. Hughes was out on the fielder's choice and then was called for the runner's interference that got Nate Houghton-Henley out. First pitch to Hentz misses upstairs.
Of course, along with Henley, of course, Brockway has left the game as well after being ejected.
One and oh. This one hit hard by Hentz and just foul by the first base bag. Nearly went off of it. Not sure if Gonzalez would have gotten to it if it had stayed fair. And if that hops over the bag, it's extra bases for Hentz. If it hits the bag, maybe just a single depending on where it jumps to. But certainly Maxey takes off for third on that ball. 1-1, leaving it up high at 90 is Hentz. Wisely so, it's 2-1.
Yeah, that foul ball, just another tough break for the Giants. They've had a couple of those this game, and in a time of need, they unfortunately receive another one.
2-1 now to Cade Hentz, the junior at Jacksonville. As that one come inside, nearly hits Hentz. Hentz has an extensive elbow guard that goes from midway on his forearm up to midway on his tricep, but still does not clip that big guard, and it's a 3-1 count now to Hentz. leaves that one alone, and it's back-to-back walks here for Gaithersburg to bring up Aaron Babayev.
And it's just unfortunate because, that one fielder's choice that turned into a runner's interference,
Now in the right fielder.
Even if they were, of course, they got the one out, but that second out just makes it much more difficult for the Giants to score runs. Of course, it eliminates the sacrifice fly, and it could be in a bases-loaded situation where now they have runners on first and second.
Yeah, it could have been, which has been the story for Gaithersburg a lot in this season. First pitch to Babayev, misses out, 1-0. Could have been bases loaded with just one out. Now Maxey on second, Hentz on first with 2 outs. Babayev at bat here, 1-0. That one gets away from the catcher hand, and both runners advance 90 feet. Now first base unoccupied and a 2-0 count to Aaron Babayev.
A hit to the outfield is crucial here for the Giants to score their first runs since the 3rd inning.
It's now 2-0 to Babayev. Back-to-back walks by Capuano after he was basically awarded a second out. 2-0, finds the zone, breaks up a series of consecutive balls thrown by Capuano, and it's now 2-1 to Babayev. Babayev, who started his collegiate career at Tulane, then transferred to the College of San Mateo at the JUCO level, chops this one foul just over his own dugout. Now 2-2. Last time Gaithersburg was here, it was Matthew Wesley for Bethesda who fouled one off, lined it right to the shoulder of Joey Nicholson, who was in the Gaithersburg dugout at the time. Nicholson was okay after that. Now a 2-2 count after that foul ball with 2 outs. This one hit hard over to Gonzalez, fields it on a knee, and walks on over to first for the 3rd and final out. So there were 3 walks in that inning, broken up by a double play via a runner's interference, and Maxey and Hentz don't cross. It's still 9-2, heading to the bottom of the 8th. Gaithersburg has to play some defense, but they have 3 offensive outs remaining to get 7 runs. And we'll see if that's the last time that the Big Train have allowed base runners in scoring position. But Ethan Bell will be back out to keep this game within kind of reach. I mean, it's going to be tough, right, Jake?
Yeah, definitely a tough situation for the Giants. They need a miracle inning, and last inning they had their last scoreless inning on defense since the 3rd, so they need to keep that up as well as get the bats going. But got to worry about defense first, as you mentioned.
So we'll step away. Ethan Bell back out on the mound, and we'll head to the bottom of the 8th here on the Giants Broadcast Network.
Outs like that. Oh. Ready?
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Emilio Gonzalez will lead off the bottom of the 8th.
Gonzalez.
This might be the last time Big Train has to grab the bats unless the Giants can plate 7 or more in the top of the 9th. But Ethan Bell is worried about getting the 3 outs that he needs to escape the 8th. First pitch to Gonzalez is strike 1. That's a great start for Bell. On the leadoff hitter this inning for the Big Train, Emilio Gonzalez. Gonzalez fouls this one off. He's down 0-2. Gonzalez 2 for 4 in this game, 2 singles, and then reached on a fielder's choice.
Bell's been in this 0-2 position before, has struggled with that third strike. Looking to get one here early.
0-2. This one hit hard into straightaway center. Henley backtracking at the scoreboard and makes the grab. Ball has been flying off of Gonzalez's bat, but the confines of the fence here at Chirlapovich have kept it in the park all night. That one middle at 78, leaving the bat at 92 and going 327. So,
yeah, I was going to say it's tough to judge how far Henley is from our position, but I mean, he's been pretty close, if not at the warning track, every time Gonzalez has popped out. He's had a great day at the plate.
And someone who has had a great day at the plate is Josh Skoronsky, who's up 1-0 on Bell, now 1-1. Skoronsky with the highlight 2 RBI triple in the 5th inning, the 4-run 5th inning for the Big Train. And really, since then, it's been tough sledding for Gaithersburg. Hasn't really gotten anything going much on the base paths. Last inning had something, but everything with 2 outs, showing kind of what they did early in the season, which is trying to generate a lot of offense with 2 outs, and that's always hard to do. 3-1 now to Josh Skoronsky. And that misses inside. So Skoronsky aboard with a walk, his 2nd walk of the game, and the 4th time he has reached base.
Logan Panett.
Hughes there with some words of encouragement to his pitcher after that walk. Just gives a punch in his glove.
And that'll bring up Logan Panett. Panett, who is 4 for 4 tonight. 3 singles and a double, as well as 3 RBIs to go with that. He watches ball 1. (1-0) to Panett. Leaves that one low again at 69. Now it's 2-0.
Yeah, you mentioned Bonnett's RBIs this game. Entering today, he had 22 of them for the Big Train. So definitely not a new statistic to him.
2-0, skips in. Hughes able to keep that in front of him now. 3-0. Yeah, you mentioned the 22 RBIs coming into tonight. That's 1 ahead of his teammate Peyton Steele for the league lead. Panett came into tonight with 22, as you mentioned. Steele with 21. 3-0, misses low, and it's back-to-back walks now. And Panett has reached base all 5 times. He's stepped up to the
Now
plate.
batting the shortstop, John.
And after a quick first out, Bell has struggled with back-to-back walks. This time Hughes coming all the way out to the mound to talk to Bell.
And although the flyout by Gonzalez stayed in the yard, there is an element to that that's a little threatening when you hang something like that over the middle of the plate, and they do get a good piece of it. You don't want to make that same mistake again, as everyone for Bethesda watched that pitch come in and watch it leave the bat of Gonzalez, and they probably think they could do better if they got the same pitch. So after that, it's now back-to-back walks, and now 2 on for John Martinez.
Nothing needed more for the Giants here than a double play. Have had multiple opportunities this game, haven't connected on any of them.
First pitch to Martinez is strike 1. Yeah, as you mentioned, have had a couple opportunities for double plays. Some have led to errors, some just throws that haven't been in time to get the 2nd out. A mix of things, just throwing off the timing. That one inside, misses Martinez. 1-1. Martinez was almost hit by a pitch previously in this game when he squared to bunt. I say almost because he was not, but his teammate Alex Peltier, was hit in the head, but it was more of a glancing blow. Busted bat over to Marino, and he's just going to throw it over to first for the 2nd out of the inning. As you mentioned, another play where looked like it could have been a double play ball. Busted bat
Now batting
may
the
have
third baseman,
aided Big Train
Parker
there, so it got to
Corbin.
Marino slower than anticipated.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate from Martinez, but not only the out, but a broken bat. That's never something you want to see, especially still collegiate guys probably still getting their own bats. Nevertheless, the out is made, and yeah, like you said, that the broken bat definitely slowed down the ball, eliminated that opportunity from Marino. However, still got one of the outs, and now one out away from batting.
First pitch to Parker Corbin was called strike one. It is imperative that Skaronski is stranded on third. You don't want to make the job any more difficult for your offense. Bell now up 0-2 on Corbin. And you mentioned those bats the players buying them themselves. That's why Colin Hughes is rocking the pink and black bat now, because he didn't have the right colorway in the model that he wanted, so had to go with that one. 0-2 swing and a miss from Corbin. And Bell gets through another inning of work, putting up a goose egg on Bethesda. It's still 9-2, and Gaithersburg down to their final 3 outs to plate 7. Jake, they only got runs in 1 inning, and that was back in the 3rd inning. They've had some traffic, but haven't had substantial traffic. How can that change here?
Well, like I said, definitely need that lead runner on, and I think they need at least 3 runs, before an out. It just got to be hot from the start. We have a new pitcher entering the game for the Big Train, but where I was going is Bellis has been clearly the best pitcher they faced this game. So I was going to say if Capana was still in, they just need to take advantage of his ability. We'll see who the Big Train have brought out. However, like I said, they're just going to jump on this guy quick, and 7 runs is a lot, especially in 1 inning when the game is on the line. So it's, honestly, there's, the team knows what they got to do, and it just got to happen. No matter how they do it, walks, hits, errors, it's got to happen.
Well, the Big Train have brought in number 34, Jake Titus, the rising sophomore from Kansas City, Kansas Community College. So that's a long name, but Titus will warm up and will step away. Due up for the Giants, Aiden Marino, Brady Powell, and Danny Orr. Ready?
Yep. All right, 1, 2.
Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Gaithersburg with their work cut out for them, down 7 with their final 3
Now batting for the
outs.
Giants, the second
Aiden
baseman,
Marino will lead things off.
Aiden
Brady
Marino.
Ruiz-Weiss will be in the on-deck circle. And then after that, it's Danny Orr. Jake Titus on the mound for the Big Train.
Yeah, Titus so far this season, 0-0 record. He has played in 3 games, 6 innings pitched. He has 7 strikeouts and 13 walks. So not the most reliable guy for the Big Train. And the Giants need to make sure to take advantage of that.
Yeah, Wild Thing has returned here tonight. That first pitch going over the head of Marino. It's now 1-0 from Jake Titus. This one hard up the middle and into center field. So there you go. Aiden Marino aboard with a leadoff single. Came in at 94, left the bat at 74, and that'll bring up Brady Ruiz-Weiss.
Yeah, Marino
Now batting the left fielder,
hitting that
Brady
one right up the middle. It
Ruiz-Weiss.
wasn't fast, but placed perfectly, allowed him to reach first base, and that's exactly what the Giants needed, a leadoff hit to get this inning going.
That'll bring up Ruiz-Weiss. And mentioned earlier in the broadcast how Gaithersburg was able to handle the high heat that the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts threw at them yesterday. And Marino keeping that trend going, but swinging and missing on the first pitch is Brady Ruiz-Weiss. That one 93 on the inside. 0-1. This one put on the ground, ranging over, going to get in the gap, the plate of first, and Weiss beats that one out. An infield single for Weiss, and now there's 2 on for Danny Orr, still no outs.
Yeah, Weiss probably the only
batting
man
first
on this
baseman,
roster
Danny
who could
Orr.
have got a hit out of that.
And Weiss definitely benefited from some miscommunication. That was honestly placed perfectly to generate that miscommunication between Brennan Wright, who was in double play depth, and Emilio Gonzalez having to range over from first, leaving Jake Titus to try and cover that one.
Yeah, the Giants find themselves in one of the best positions they've been in since the early stages of this game.
Now 1-0 to Danny Orr. Marino on second, Ruiz-Weiss on first. Some speed on the base paths for Gaithersburg. 1-0 from Titus. Powell fouled up and out of play. And doesn't sound like it made it to a car this time,
Yeah,
Jake.
I'm not. I think we were off. I think we were muted. However, I got word back that the car hit earlier was a white Chevy, a car that I drive. So after this game, definitely a little nervous to go over and check. So I made sure to track that one to my car.
1-1. Marino dancing around a little too much for Titus's liking. And Marino slides back in, no throw. That's one disengagement for Titus in this at-bat to Danny Orr. Orr gets a second to regather himself, 1-1. Leaves that one outside, 2-1 the count.
Or as we have mentioned before, an all-star on this Giants team leads the Giants in a lot of batting statistics. A great guy to have up with a runner in scoring position, looking to score their first run since the third.
2-1. Fouled off by Orr, frustrated with himself. 93 on the outside part of the plate. Just couldn't get his bat head squared up to it. Got just under it a tad bit. So just a slight ricochet off the bat. It's now 2-2 to Danny Orr. Still no outs here in the top of the ninth. The 2-2 pitch from Titus. Marino takes off, fouled off by Orr to stay alive. Likely could have left that one alone, but hindsight always 20/20.
Yeah, especially with a 2-strike, 7-run deficit, you do not want to go down looking in this situation.
So Orr able to stay alive. Marino did go on that pitch, but had to go back to second as it was fouled off. 2-2, the count remains. Marino still dancing. Titus taking his time with the pitch clock. Runner goes, fouled off again. That time in the zone at 92. Orr staying alive again.
Yeah, Marino dancing back there. Can only imagine he is definitely getting in the mind of Titus, but Titus has remained strong, able to find the strike zone and or get Orr to swing at it.
Marino got to be vigilant here. Brennan Wright creeping up the second baseman behind Marino. Pitch delivered over the glove of hand. Marino will take third anyway, and Ruiz-Weiss will take second. So after all those little mind games, that one hops off the glove of hand, and it's a full count. Jake Titus and Danny Orr continue this battle here.
Yeah, we have some chants from the Big Train fans now, but a hit from Orr can quickly silence them and score 2 more runs.
Full count pitch, swing and a miss from Orr. He's down on strikes. 93 elevated as Orr is retired.
Now batting the designated
Orr was
hitter,
laughing
Andrew
and
Cullo.
shaking his head, walking into the dugout. I think he knows that one was too high, and his 20/20 vision was just a little too much there. Couldn't let that one go by him for out number 1.
That'll bring up Andrew Hollab. That one goes over the head of Hollab. Marino's coming home. The play at the plate. The tag, not there. Weiss gets to third. 1 run scores for Gaithersburg. Chipping away at this lead. They still need 6, but a 4th run now stands 90 feet away.
Yeah, nice base running there from Marino. It was a little close. Surprised he didn't slide, but him standing up got in the way of Titus. He wasn't able to handle the pitch from hand. Now Brady Reese-Weiss was not thinking about taking home even with the lost ball, but the Giants get their first run since the 3rd.
Now 1-0. Left up by Hollab. Now 2-0. And it's always tough to think about what could have been. We think about what could have been last inning with the runner's interference turned double play. 2-0. Called strike 1 on Hollab, and then you think back to that strike 3 swinging on Orr. He leaves that one alone. It's bases loaded and there's no outs. And then now there's still 2 base runners on and no outs. But now just Ruiz Weiss on third. Now 3-1 count to Hollab.
Yeah, just as I mentioned, every out, especially, the first out is very crucial. Just makes it that much harder for the Giants. Still find themselves in a, I don't even want to say decent, however, a runner in scoring position in a 3-1 count to big hitter Hollab.
3-1. Tipped foul by Hollab, 93 outside part of the zone. Now another full count here. Back-to-back batters getting to full counts on Jake Titus. Gaithersburg down to their final 2 outs. Still need to plate 6 to keep the game going. Full count, 1 out. Ruiz Weiss on third. This one tanked foul. 78 up. Hollab obviously way early on that one, able to tag it over onto the tennis courts. We hope everyone's okay out there.
Yeah, Hollab, you could see how early he was on that one. Still made pretty good contact with him, with it. Giving him some confidence going into this next full count pitch.
Full count it remains between Titus and Hollab. Chopped foul. Hollab able to stay alive, just barely gets enough of it.
Yeah, 2 slower pitches we've seen. One Hollab super early, the other one super late. Nevertheless, he stays alive.
So another full count pitch. The 8th pitch of this at-bat to Andrew Hollab. The payoff pitch yet again from Jake Titus. That one snapped into the ground and into the glove of Hand. It's another walk for the Gaithersburg Giants. Hollab with a little look at the
Now
Big
batting
Train
catcher,
dugout.
Colin Hughes.
Gets a little oohs and ahs. But a third base runner allowed this inning by Jake Titus. Now runners on the corners with 1 away for Colin Hughes.
Yeah, Hollab still shaking his head up and down towards both teams' dugouts.
Here's the first pitch to Hughes. This one hit hard into straightaway center field. Not going to fall. Makes its way into the glove of Alex Peltier. So the second out recorded. Brady Ruiz-Weiss scores. It's now 9-4. Gaithersburg down to their final out, and still need to plate 5 runs.
Yeah, obviously not the worst thing that could have happened for the Giants there, but as you mentioned earlier, that first strikeout from Danny Orr, very crucial, as now the Giants are down to their last out. Runner on first, and still 5 runs to go.
That brings up Nate Houghton-Henley now. First pitch to Henley, left out, 4-1. Titus has the speed, just doesn't have the control, and that has ultimately led to a lot of his issues. Has allowed 3 or more walks in his 3 previous appearances, has just 1 here in this inning. That one left low, but called strike 1 on Henley. The 1-1. This is upstairs on Henley, 2-1 at 90.
Henley hasn't had the game of his dreams today. However, finds himself in a situation where he needs to get on base any which way he can.
2-1. That one spiked, goes off of Hand's mask, and Holub will take second base. 3-1 the count now.
Holub seemed to be rounding second there a little bit. Not the fastest guy. Wasn't really thinking about third. Just showed how long it took for a Big Trin player to get on the ball.
3-1 as that one spiked off the dirt and then off the mask of J.J. Hand. Now a 3-1 count for Jake Titus. Leaves that one out, and it's the second walk awarded by Titus this inning. As I mentioned, Titus 3 or more walks in his previous 3 outings. However, those 3 outings all more than 1 inning. So 2 walks in a single inning here for Titus brings up Ryan Maxey. Maxey, who has 2 walks already tonight.
Yeah, the Giants fighting up at the plate. Still a long ways to go, but have.
This one grounded over, and it's misplayed there by Parker Corbin to load the bases.
Yeah, just as I was saying there, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No.
The Giants just doing the right thing there, getting the bases loaded, even if it requires some help from the big train.
Now batting the
Parker
shortstop,
Corbin
Cade Hentz.
may have let the moment get to him there, wanting to end this game. Now bases loaded for Cade Hentz, and it is 2 outs, but the tying run is in the on-deck circle. So Cade Hentz now steps in. First pitch to Hentz. This one hit hard and into right field. Holub scores. Staying at second is Henley, and it's 9-5. Bases remain loaded. Tying run now at the plate here in Bethesda.
I was just gonna say that. Now the Giants really, they can see the light on the other side with the tying run now in play. As you mentioned, Babayev is grounded out in his last 3 at-bats. However, he has shown some pop this season, finds himself in a crucial situation for the Giants.
Down 4, bases loaded, 2 outs for Babayev. First pitch, misses high, Hand able to handle it, and it's now 1-0. Every pitch getting that much more intensive as now the Big Train pitching coach will come out to have a word with Titus. I was wondering how much of a leash Titus would have. Again, if he leaves a pitch hanging over the middle of the plate, it's a tie game if Babayev can get a piece of it. So obviously not the spot Bethesda wanted Titus to be in here.
Yeah, I mean, just you don't want to speak too early. It would be fantastic though to see a tying grand slam in the top of the 9th.
Yeah.
And as I don't think we've talked about this broadcast, but the Giants are in a situation where they cannot afford many more losses this season if they want any thoughts of playoffs.
There has not been many necessarily heroes this year for the Gaithersburg Giants. Last year they had a couple, most namely A.J. Martin, Aiden Robbins, and Danny Sheeler were the heroes for Gaithersburg last summer. Can Babayev become one of those heroes here tonight? 1-0 from Titus. That finds the zone at 90. Now 1-1 with 2 outs. The 1-1 pitch misses outside and low. 2-1 the count.
Very tense situation. Not many cheers from the Big Train fans.
2-1. Spiked gets off the backstop and right into the glove of hand. Now 3-1. Nowhere to put Babayev here. And you can't throw another one like that if you're Jake Titus.
Yeah, it was good awareness from Henley. Not too eager to score. Saw it bounce right back to the catcher. Stays on third.
3-1. This one hit hard, and that one gets into the outfield. Henley scores. Maxey being held at third. Misplayed. Now Maxey comes home. He gets down. He's in. A 2-run ball game here. Now 9-7. The tying run on first base after a 2 RBI single from Aaron Babayev. And now Sal Colangelo will come out to make a change.
And this inning has been everything the Giants have needed so far. Can start thinking about taking the lead now, let alone tying the game. This will end Jake Titus's short night. Along with that, some chirps from the Giants bench, but yeah, it's just as I mentioned, the Giants have done everything they've needed to. 5 runs this inning alone. Just in a very dangerous position as we get back to the leadoff hitter this inning.
Yep, the Gaithersburg Giants have batted around. Aiden Marino will be the first up at bat when we come back. A new arm in for the Big Train. I believe it's number 32, Tyler Brashear. So as Brashear warms up, we will step away on the Giants. Welcome back on the Giants Broadcast Network. Gaithersburg making things interesting here late. Down to their final out. They started this inning down 7. They've plated 5. Cade Hentz on second, Babayev on first. Babayev represents the tying run he has to cross to keep this game going. Aiden Marino will be the first to face Tyler Brashear. First pitch to Brashear is outside for ball 1 at 90, 1-0.
Marino got his first hit this game to start this inning, looking to do the same here.
1-0 from Tyler Brashear. Cade Hentz on second. That one misses outside. 2-0 now.
Coming into this game, Brashear has an ERA of 6.96. He has had 5 games he has played in, 10 innings pitched. He has 10 strikeouts and 11 walks. So again, not the most reliable arm for the Big Train to be bringing in to this game.
He just needs 1 out. Gaithersburg trying to make it more. 2-0. Left out, 3-0. That one reaching 91, but still not finding the zone. Third base is unoccupied, so missing here would just load the bases. I say just, but still a massive spot. 3-0 to Aiden Marino. Pitch from Tyler Brashear. That one finds the zone when it needed to for Brashear. A roar of applause here from the Big Train faithful.
Still a long way to go for Brashear.
3-1, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Tying run on first is Babayev. This one lofted into right field, backtracking, and Peyton Steele makes the grab. And that will end this one. Gaithersburg tries to make it interesting, and they do make it interesting in the top of the 9th, plating 5, but ultimately, yet again, just too big of a deficit to come back from, and that will end it. 9-7 the final score. Big Train take down the Giants. The Giants fall to 5-21. Jake, that was a extended game in my eyes. I mean, one that could have ended a lot sooner, but Gaithersburg going back to the saying, Giants never quit, and they put up a good fight in the end.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. You say that too little too late. A large theme for the Giants this season, and again, just an unfortunate time for it to happen. I think you said the Giants cannot afford 4 more losses this season if they want any hopes at playoffs. So, I mean, falling here is pretty big for the team, and it's just unfortunate. You know, they show signs of greatness against great teams. However, they're not able to put the nail in the coffin, and that's exactly what we saw here today.
Yeah, just a lot to come back from, as the Big Train plated 8 in a row. It was 2-1 Gaithersburg after the top of the 4th, and then after that, 8 originally unanswered until the top of the 5th, and that is where we finish things off tonight. Manager TJ Brockway was thrown out of this one, and not sure if that may have played into things in terms of pinch hitters. TJ loves to trust his guys, and I think he would have loved to see the fight that they put on for him after he was thrown out of this game, as he makes his way past us and back into the dugout. So that will do it here tonight from Shirley Povich Field. The Giants will go back home tomorrow for a 4 p.m. matinee against the Southern Maryland Senators, and we hope to see you there. I mean, Jake, there's not really much else to say. It was a good fight, one that, you know, I'm sure Gaithersburg would have loved to have back yet again, has been the story so many times this season.
Yeah, like you said, not too much more to say. The Giants just have to, you know, they got to pick up their heads. They got to see what was done good this game and what wasn't, and take that into tomorrow and look for a win.
And they'll look for a win tomorrow at Crispo Automotive Field at 4 p.m. If you can't join us in person in Gaithersburg, we hope to see you back here on the Gaithersburg Giants Broadcast Network. I'm David Lewis signing off with my co-host here, Jack Tseronis.